Hello everyone and welcome to the QT. Episode number 9. I've already forgotten what I called the episode.
Just a normal day.
I think you already did that, right?
Possibly.
It's good that you told me because I forgot to retweet the thing. I'm doing it now.
It's hard to come up with titles when you're not entirely sure what's going to happen.
Well, obviously, yeah.
Easy solution to it. You just railroad
That's why I just call them episode 1 or episode 2. I don't title them.
Episode 9, shooting from the hip.
Episode 9, who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
Episode 9, monsters maybe?
Episode 9, some supernatural stuff, probably.
I was gonna say monsters, probably.
Some supernatural bullshit.
Just a normal day, the return.
Episode 9, at least one supernatural.
Just a normal day. Day 2, yeah.
So, I haven't messed up the intro yet, this doesn't count. Hello everyone and welcome to The Wandering Inn. It's lovely to have you all here again, and now I've messed up the intro. No,
Yes, yes you have.
Yes, now.
Great, we're having a great time.
if this is your first time here, hello, welcome. If it's not, hello, welcome back. If you're interested in the channel and the things that I do, I have plans, I have things, and there's, etc. First thing, most important, go check out the Patreon. The Patreon is where we fund the cast pay. Currently, the Monday show is completely covered. I would like to start another slot, which would be another permanent slot. So if you go check out the Patreon, you can see how close we're getting to that goal. And, I don't know, throw $3 if you're interested in supporting.
Whole dollars.
Oh yeah. It's cheaper than a Twitch sub, and it's more useful.
That's true.
Seriously, it's like a quarter of a Starbucks.
Also, clearly...
Katie, don't call me out like that.
Also, clearly everyone's subbing has not been sufficient enough for the overlords on who run Twitch, because I seem to have heard that they had some issues recently.
Sure have. But let's
Anyway.
maybe not go into that right now, because I could get very angry.
We will gracefully slide past that topic into, hey, past that, there's a Discord, there's a Twitter, you can go to get notified when we go live with shows. I put it in both of those places.
I'm allergic to hay. Can I be excused?
Sure. Additionally, there are, I hope your hay joke was worth derailing me.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Obviously.
Yeah, so Twitter is where you can go if you want to get notified, or Discord, both of them work. Past that, there is also coming a website. We're going to have a website which is going to have all the shows and everything, specifically linking to all the previous shows, the archives on YouTube, because even though the shows are there, it can be difficult to, see exactly what there is and what your options are, so...
I'm looking forward to the website. That way.
Yeah,
Me too.
It's in the works, and it's quicker in the works than I was planning on it. So there you go. Past that, everyone here is a wonderful person.
That's a stretch.
Yeah, I was just kind of weighing that, whether I really want to commit to that.
I like how Sheepy
sentence.
left a gap at the end of that to let people go, no.
Even if they're not a wonderful person, if you want, you can go and check them out. The down below on the stream is all of their apps for Twitch, which you can go and give them a follow. There are also links in down below, I think, in the description on both Twitch and on YouTube. So go give them a look. Additionally, past that, we have recorded the first few episodes of Alien, and it's been very, very interesting. I'm not going to say anything else past that, but yeah, as the weeks go by, we're going to be recording, editing, and then eventually, after we've done all the post-production stuff we need to do to it, it'll be released on the YouTube. So if you're interested specifically in the Alien show, go check out the YouTube, go subscribe, and wait patiently. It shouldn't be too long, but it'll be longer than, it's not coming out tomorrow. Have I forgot anything? I feel like I have.
Probably.
Yeah, you did.
That feels like... Oh. Did we?
I was going to say, other than the rundown of
Yeah,
last
you
episode,
totally
I
forgot
think-
something, Sheepy.
What did I forget?
We're not going to tell you.
You forgot to genuinely say this time that all of these people are wonderful people without a pause behind it.
Sorry.
Looking straight into the camera.
Syrinx is a wonderful person.
Not just me.
I like the idea of you looking into the camera
How do you feel
I
now,
think all of
Syrinx?
these people are great people. Now
know.
can I have my kids back?
Is that is that good enough?
Off screen, there's a hitman
exactly.
pointing a gun.
Okay, look, let me do it then. All of these people here are wonderful people. There you go, Sheepy. Is it that hard?
That's
Is
it,
it
but
that
you're-
hard? Is it because you're British?
I think Syrinx is because you sound genuine and Cheapy doesn't.
It's hard for me to sound genuine through all this beard.
Yeah.
Being English generally makes
And
you
being
not
English
sound
makes you sound
genuine,
sarcastic, to be
generally.
fair.
Yeah.
Maybe you
50%,
should-
50% of every word you say means the opposite of that word. So.
Basically.
Oh, thank you. I don't know which of that was.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go, right?
50% of that was sarcastic, you decide.
Intimately familiar with British sarcasm.
I love it.
So, last week, we messed around with wispy angel statue light thing.
I don't
that
know if
came-
messed around is what
Yeah.
I don't know if messed
Being
around is what I'd
dragged.
call it.
Being dragged halfway into the floor.
Yes.
Just had a casual near-death experience with the light from the church. It's fine.
Very
Yeah.
There was a strange entity that cast a light once it manifested into the church. They went in to investigate, decided... I'm not sure they decided to deal with it. They hung around long enough that it turned up and were like, what is this? And then it was like... It went aggressive mode on a couple of them, and they were just like, right, fuck it, let's kill it.
I did not feel we were adequately prepared to take care of it. We weren't adequately consulted, definitely.
I agree.
I mean, the gargoyles told us there some stuff.
Yeah.
I mostly went in because gargoyles said to, like, how do you say no to a gargoyle?
It's hard enough to understand them, to be fair.
Exactly.
But
Nod
yes,
and smile.
they met a gargoyle who gave them some information. They went in, they met the light. The light manifested a blinding light. Also tried to possess George, and also tried to possess Tori. At which point it got ejected, started getting angry, projected light, and through that light darkened the shadows to the point where strange shadow men started to gloop out of it. And
Bloop.
then slowly went after everyone until
Slowly.
And hungry
Slowly,
Georgie.
casually,
slowly, casually.
frolicked after the rest.
And then George had a heart-to-heart with
Good old Chef Jeff.
well, sure. I like that George has unconditionally accepted that strange like void being chat is like, Chef Jeff, yes.
You know, I thought about that a lot actually afterwards, like how casual, but honestly, I think it's maybe the first adult who's ever spoken to her,
Yeah.
like taken an interest. So she's probably like, oh, feels nice. You know, like in the weirdest way possible. Even though he's not like a physical being, I'm not sure about that one.
It's hard to say. It's all
Yeah.
very unclear currently. Well,
Very convoluted.
it did spawn something that people have since quoted back to me, which is when George was saying that everything is terrible, Chef Jeff went, it gets so much worse or something. He was like, oh, well, you're young, it gets worse.
It gets so much worse.
Yeah.
Jeff?
I love how now that like when Katie repeats what Sheepy said as Chef Jeff, it's like with a British accent.
Well, Jeff's British. Who am I to argue?
Yeah.
It turns out everyone in America is British. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
QT's weird, man.
We have a lot of Brits, which is honestly bizarre.
Brits are bizarre.
Why would you come here?
How bizarre! How bizarre! How bizarre!
God.
So finally, there was a bit after George had inhaled, let's call it, the light.
Yeah. Sure. Inhaled.
Sure. They all decided to head
Kirby.
off in their separate directions, aside from Tori and Cecilia, who had a bit of an argument and a bit of a heart-to-heart.
The argument happened before, like, they separated. So
That's
technically, the two of them only had a heart-to-heart.
That's true.
It was very heartwarming, actually.
I mean, to be fair, the two of them also had an argument while George and William stood there and was like, should we go? Like, what do we... But no.
I'm in front of the kids.
They did... I would say Tori and Cecilia did eventually kind of figure that out to a degree. We also got a little lore drop of the fact that Tori and George knew each other when they were kids and used to hang out
Oh
as
yeah.
kids.
Right.
Which I don't know if you guys read the Mr. Matt YouTube comment that was mentioned and
I
was
read it half.
Oh, I haven't
Praise.
looked yet.
I read it half an hour before this. Also, it's a two-parter. I'm just saying. We talked
it
about
is a
wanting-
two-parter. You got a
Just
two-parter
saying.
from Mr. Matt.
I read it about
I'm
half
so
an hour before
excited.
the show.
It's a good way to refresh, to be fair. Like, he covers a lot of the important points.
It is.
So, past that, yeah, we had a little meeting with Ashford. I think things settled down a little bit. I know everyone's still very much like I'm being blackmailed, or what's the word, extorted to, well, aside from Cecilia.
I love how you said, like, everyone's still being like that, like it's something they should get over with. Like, God, everyone's still hung up over the fact
Yeah,
that
but
I'm
why-
blackmailing
Yeah.
them. Can't
Well-
these kids see the good in this?
Hey, I'm just saying, you know, like, everyone is still upset. You know, everyone is still upset about being extorted, but it feels like they have become a little more used to the current status quo.
Used to
No.
being extorted.
Yeah.
I think I'm just
Yeah.
a teenager and I haven't had a life where I get to choose my own decisions yet. So it's
Yeah.
pretty normal for an adult to
Word.
take over.
That's also true. But, you know, then again,
And you never will get to make your own decision.
you know, then again,
Spoilers.
how much is not dying worth? That's a good
True.
question.
And it's worth both everything and nothing at once.
It
Because if you're dead, it wouldn't matter. But if you're alive, then like.
Whoa. Whoa.
Let's go to. We gotta go to Mr. Knight. We gotta go to Mr. Knight's
Whoa.
philosophy class
we're
and
hitting
talk
some
it out.
philosophy on that. All right.
Yeah, we just got deep as fuck.
So that I think covers everything. George regurgitated the light.
Yep.
It
I was
got
gonna say that part.
it got pancaked, and then basically thrown in a briefcase. And that's pretty
Miss-
much where we left off.
Histories.
Yeah. Also, as a sidebar for anyone taking notes or anyone who needs a small refresher, when the light was like put back out, the word he said was wait, and then it was
Wait, as in WEIGHT or WAIT?
as in WEIGHT.
Okay,
So
heavy.
let's start off, shall we? And I think so. The day goes by. You do your afternoon activities. You head home. You have dinner. You know, those of you who have to look after younger siblings do so. Those of you who have to help around the house, help around the farm, for example. All of those things do so. It's a generally one of the weirdest things that you're all, I assume, starting to get used to, is that you'll have this bizarre fucking day especially when you interact with Ashford or, you know, something supernatural. Happened a couple of times now. And then the rest of your day is super normal, like, you know, like you just do your everyday stuff.
I feel like I feel like it must be really, that must be like whiplash, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the idea of like, we deal with this like hugely life-threatening supernatural occurrence at midnight yesterday, but midterms are in 2 weeks, you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I think part of that is a little bit of like intentional denial on all of your part, where it's like,
Yeah.
you know, where it's like, I don't really want to think about that weird light that summons shadow demons and try to.
You gotta compartmentalize the shadow demons, okay? Like that's the only way you're gonna survive.
So unless anyone particularly wants to highlight something on the day, Tori, as a little refresher, Tori, your mum's still back. She is back and forward. She's very busy. You generally only get like a dinner with her. And in this instance, you know, she's back for dinner and then she's off again with her assistant, you know, like organizing meetings. And even though she's off in terms of work, she's still on in terms of.
I mean, I don't think she's ever off in terms of doing things. Yeah.
For George, things go back to normal. Where your mum is working again. She stays around at the boyfriends, and you both are left to fend for yourselves, you know, to a certain degree. I imagine that there is a little bit of relief mixed with complicated anger. Because it's relief where it's like she's not going to continue trying this for another week or so and then go back to normal, get Lys's hopes up again, and then kind of.
Yeah, it's like it's the anger is safe because she's familiar. It's familiar. So it's like angry, but at the same time a comfort.
Yeah. For Cecilia, the farm has calmed down a little bit since the missing horse. Essentially, there was a search for it. Nothing was found, but obviously the fence was found to be like ripped open a little bit. Assumption is it got out of its stables and wandered off and just can't be found. The fence has started to be repaired, had a guy come around, and things have mostly settled down to normal, aside from the fact that chickens and things aren't going missing anymore, which is nice. I guess those dastardly students finally gave up on their pranks.
Yeah.
I still have a game theory that it's like something to do with Cecilia's power that's disappearing chickens. That's my.
But
that's
it
my
stopped. Oh.
She ripped apart that creature
It
too.
stopped.
I'm just saying. I'm like I'm just putting it out there.
No more chickens are going missing, Elf. You're
imagining
right now.
things. Right now.
You're imagining things.
We still don't know what you do.
Facts.
Well, we do. Myself
We
and
do.
Syrinx.
Well, yeah.
Secrets don't make friends.
But secrets make a good show.
Lies. Secrets
Facts.
bind friends together. Dark pacts.
So finally for Will, I mean, it's pretty much the same as usual. You go to a chess club and you have a couple of games. You know, I don't know.
Do I win? You want a toe-to-toe?
Yeah. Hit a toe-to-toe.
I love how LZT is now so close by, and the first time I look at it, it was like, you want to go toe-to-toe?
Leans in.
Okay, let's see. I definitely get some extras from chess.
Yes.
Let's see. High focus, tactically minded, spatially aware, 2 moves ahead.
Yes.
Uh,
I would say high motivation would also work.
yeah.
And smart.
Insight?
I would say no.
Okay.
But that requires it to be manifested, and
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
I doubt you're going to be like, I'm so locked into winning
Yeah,
chess.
exactly. Yeah, no,
I'm
that
going
makes
to
sense.
manifest
That'll
the
be when
eye.
I play on chess.com.
Yeah.
Smart, does that factor in from school excellence? Yeah.
I would say yes.
More.
Okay, so and against stubborn, probably.
I would say stubborn.
Hyper focused.
Stubborn and maybe hyper-focused.
Yeah, okay. So 4, let's see, 6 pluses and 2 minus.
What I would say is 1 minus. If you lose the first game, then the hyper-focused would count against you.
Okay.
But
Ready?
for the initial kind of like, how does you do?
Toe-to-toe. Great success.
Yeah, no, it's
Wow, I rolled like shit.
good thing you have all the chess things. Yeah, no, you I would say you do have like a couple of games where it takes time to be, to get comfortable, and you're like, okay, I think I'm winning this. But the end result is essentially, I'd say probably 3 or 4 wins in a row. Yeah.
Okay, that's weird. Okay, yeah, no, I misunderstood the die thing. I got the 3D dice and it didn't show up the right number, but it's fine. Okay, yeah, no, okay. Great success though.
Yeah. And I was wondering, do you follow up anything on that book with Bridget, or is
No.
that just
I don't, unless I see her reading it, I don't follow up on it.
You see her reading, but different books. Like, it generally, when she's not...
Is it the same kind of theme?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Like... It is all along kind of like a witchy, Wicca... I know they're different things. But this is the 90s, so in the 90s they're not.
Exactly.
But yeah, it never really goes into, it's not like how to curse your friends or anything like that. It's more like obscure texts and like
Okay.
mythologies, things like that, I guess.
Mm.
Okay. In that case, the night goes by, and you all carry out. Oh, look at this! Just a normal day. Aside from the conversation with Mr. Ashford at the beginning of it, and we will fade in to a slightly misty morning where Cecilia, you wake up, come downstairs, have your breakfast, and you step outside the back door, basically into the yard and where the animals are, and it kind of the back of your house kind of looks out onto the fields and everything there. So it's a nice view for a start, although possibly some memories of recent times of broken fences and following following trails. Maybe not so much. There's some birds chirping. The mist is kind of like, it's early enough that the sun is only just rising, kind of behind the trees, way back towards the woods, and things are pretty calm. The animals are either just starting to wake up. There's a few clucks of chickens and etc. And you have a little bit of time, either to help out around the farm or whatever it is you want to do before you have to head in and do school stuff.
Yeah, I think that the peaceful morning around her is a bit in contrast to her own head right now, because I feel like since yesterday she hasn't managed to fully get back to that peaceful, motivational, optimistic headspace yet. Even though yesterday evening was normal, she would have definitely still been thinking about the church, also what happened before that, and also the moment the whole thing with going with Tori and the small conversations that they had in her room, where Tori also for the first time said that she didn't agree with what Ashford was doing. Which is definitely also something that stuck around in her mind, because up until now in the meetings Tori was very out there, but she was just going along with and following Ashford's commands. So I think all of that is really making her thoughts a bit messed up and not quite her usual peppy self. So I think after getting breakfast, she will decide to, well, if she can work, maybe she can clear her head a bit and get in a good mindset for the rest of the day. So she will go to the farm a bit, go to the chickens, start giving food to the animals that need it, start cleaning up where necessary, and see if she is, well, if there's anyone else already working or not, because it's early, but that it's like a 50% chance that there is already someone out there working, because she got her mannerisms and her behavior of waking up this early and already working from some people.
Yes, and none of the workers who work on the farm have turned up yet. They turn up a little bit later and they do the morning stuff. But you do see your dad like in the distance, off further to kind of towards the stables and near the fences. He's probably gonna off to feed the cows, most likely, I would imagine. So there is one person busy.
Oh yeah, but he as you said, he's probably going to like the bigger animals that are on the fields. Yeah. So I think Cece will keep herself busy with the like smaller animals in the like sheltered off areas. And I think that as she feeds them and cleans up a bit, as she has been busy for like a good half an hour, she would pause for a moment, like take some water. Remember to hydrate, kids. And as she's like drinking, would look out onto the field and like towards where he said like the fence is being repaired and stuff. And I think there's like this, you know, when you have a memory, like you suddenly think back on a very, I want to say traumatic experience, but more like a very heavily, like heavy emotions, heavy adrenaline situation, like being attacked. I think that as she looks at the fence, there's like this moment where her like heart starts pumping faster, and she's like, for a second there, back in the situation where she was with the horse, before she like snaps out of it and like just tries to calm herself, like, you know, no, it's that happened, that it's not gonna happen anymore, it's gone, there's lots of crazy shit out there, but at least you know, at least this morning there's nothing here, there's nothing here.
And I will say that as you're kind of, you know, saying this to yourself and you're calming yourself down, a little bit you can feel around you this sensation of everyday life, feeding, you know, getting up for the morning, and even just kind of like a little bit, I guess, energy for the day to come. And it's something you technically can draw from to calm yourself. To give you a description, it feels like there is a big pool of emotion around you, and the majority of it is very calm. Like there's no kind of sense of danger around. It is everything in the area is relaxed, is calm, is just starting to get active to wake up. it's something you can immerse yourself in. You can kind of like dip into that emotion and it will soothe your nerves.
I think she stops for a moment and opens her eyes and like frowns when she realizes there's like this thing that she can feel. The cat is getting, wow, not calm. And when she's like calculating in her head for a moment, she puts down her water, puts down her spade or whatever shovel that she was holding, and like just kind of sits on the ground for a moment, like crisscross applesauce. Just like she let's surely it can't let's just try maybe it's normal, maybe it's natural. And she thinks back briefly on the moment where like the discussion that she had with Tori, where basically she said like, oh, you not knowing will put everyone in danger, and you not knowing might get like us killed in a situation. And she, as she like remembers that, she just like straightens her back and like closes her eyes again and takes a deep breath in and tries to like tries to find that feeling again that she found that first morning where she had the weird interaction with the bird that she thought was a weird daydream at the moment.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess are you reaching out you know, in that kind of sense, or are you more opening up to the
I think it's more like reaching out. I think as natural as she can try to make it for herself, she like you know when you do mindfulness and it's like, oh, you open your mind and you try to feel what's around you, you know? Like she tries to rationalize it like that and she's like, okay, I'll just try, you know, I'll just, you know, who knows? So it's more of a like reaching out thing.
Okay. In that case, as you kind of you start, let's call it mentally flexing, and you start to, instead of feeling the general vibe, you start to be able to pinpoint certain emotions in certain areas. Like out in the woods, there is much more of a kind of stealthy staying undercover and rooting around. Like here and there you have foraging, you have searching, and others you have kind of the security and safety of being underground, like these type of sensations, and you start to be able to pick them out one by one. Above you have a couple of like elated enjoying the freedom of movement and, you know, the speed of basically traveling around. Nearby you start to pick out much more calm, kind of secure, thinking about food and hunger, and even some little ones who are sating that hunger and feeling the satisfaction of that. And you realize that all of these are essentially minds, simple minds with simple desires and simple impulses. but they are all things that you can, let's say for the sake of description, slide into. You can subtly, without being noticed, take yourself, your consciousness, into the minds of these things and essentially hitchhike, almost like being an observer. You can experience the emotions, but you can also experience the senses.
I think that the things you said, like, it's not something that comes to her mind. For her, I think that it feels like, oh, there's this possibility to go further, you know?
You
like,
feel
because you're reaching out and you're like, I'm not at the end. Like, I feel like I can go deeper, you know?
Yeah.
So I think just because of that, she, like, tries to, you know? And, for example, when you said, like, there is this, the feeling in the forest, I think she, like, tries to go deeper at that moment.
You feel this, like, similar to before, although you weren't really super concentrating on it, so you didn't experience the sensation the same way the first time, but you feel yourself still, but a part of you, the kind of conscious, active part of you that controls what you do, what you say, like, shifts and moves and goes from essentially in your own head, let's say, as suddenly, like, sliding across a sensation of, like, travel without moving. And you find yourself warm in straw, and this sensation of being underground and safe. And at some point you're going to have to go out and look around, but for now, you know, you could stay where it's safe and you can see around, obviously, like, it's quite a small little burrow. You appear to have, like, pause. You don't have control over where you look, and you don't have control over the mind. But I will say as well, you haven't gone all the way you can. There's a deeper path to travel along this road.
I think there's this definite starting feeling of, like, just unnerving, of, like, this creeping up at the back of her spine of, like, this isn't, like, anything I've ever felt before, and this just it's like the starting feeling of, like, this is weird. This is just plain weird.
The best way I would describe it, it would be, you feel like you're looking through binoculars, in the sense of you don't feel like you're inside the binoculars and they're part of your vision. You feel like you're looking over someone's shoulder. So it's, at worst, you are a presence that would feel like, you know, that sensation you get when you're like, someone's watching me. That is at most what your presence is currently.
Okay. Can I suggest that there's a very, very short moment that she does go deeper?
Okay.
But it's only... it'll only be very short-lived.
As you go deeper, you feel your presence slowly seeping into this light. And you start to realize that you have the ability to control. You have the ability to put in command, to put in impulse, and also to take over to a certain degree. Essentially, it would be like if you're sitting behind someone driving, and you suddenly take their hands off the steering wheel and start driving yourself.
Can I suggest a visual?
Yeah.
What animal is it?
It's a rabbit.
a rabbit. And essentially at this moment, Cecilia can see through it, right? It's like she's the rabbit, right?
Yes, it the vision becomes more clear. It's like you're looking through your eyes, but they are
Yeah.
slightly unnatural.
Correct me if this doesn't fit, but I feel like in that moment, as she just goes like that tiny bit deeper, and has the feeling of like being at a sort of end, as she looks through the rabbit and realizes that split second of taking the time to look and realize that she is inside this rabbit or something along those lines. I think she freaks out and like, but still in the rabbit body for a moment, like she starts crawling out and she starts to see, like she freaks out and the reaction as a rabbit is to start crawling out. But then she sees that it's like the rabbit doing that, and as she like the rabbit reaches like above ground, she like the reaction is hard enough to pull back to her body.
I would say also as well, like when Cecilia freaks out, that impulse is pushed throughout the rabbit's nervous system, and the rabbit itself like starts to fight. Like there's a resistance to your seeping control. And essentially it just kind of like panics, fight or flight, with nothing to fight or to flight. It just starts to run around. Yeah, like it kind of panics and then gets up through the, and then just you are taken for a second as a passenger as it starts to run through the undergrowth in the woods before you are rejected completely, partially through your own choice, because you know, I would say possession probably comes into Cecilia's mind as a word. And so there's a rejection of that idea, along with the rejection of the rabbit itself, basically fighting against your presence, that kind of like shunts you out, and you feel yourself kind of like very quick travel sensation, and you open your eyes and you find yourself back. There's a small remnant of fight or flight, which has your pulse beating, but aside from that, nothing else. And also, I would say you probably can't really sense much at the moment in terms of what you were feeling before, just purely because, you know, mind distracted.
This. Oh my. What just. This isn't this. It isn't. Oh. It isn't right. It's not. No. And she starts like, yeah.
I was gonna say, as she's kind of like been standing there for a little bit, and she comes back and starts to kind of like process what just happened. From in the distance, you hear your dad basically say, "Cecilia, have you fed the chickens?"
Gonna do that right now, Dad.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Right. Feed the chickens. Let's just feed the chickens. And she gets up and goes to do that, praying that she can actually keep herself distracted enough at this moment.
And as you kind of shake it off and walk, you essentially go feed the chickens. And question, is this something where she shakes it off as like not real, or does it linger with her as she's doing her chores around her?
No, I think it's not. Where the first time it was definitely a daydream thing, like this is not real. This time there is sadly enough realization for herself to realize that she can't just cipher this away as this is not real.
Yeah.
Because also this time it actually felt real. And I think like she even has this little moment where she looks at her hands, like down at her hands, and she can there's still the sensation of having like the rabbit paws, and it's like it's definitely, she can't say this is not real. However, there's definitely still the feeling of like, I don't know how to feel about that, but at this moment it doesn't feel right. It's like just the lingering sense of like, this is not natural. This is like basically your first reaction to something you have never encountered before or never haven't seen. It's like you have the denial stage, but then you have the stage of like, no, I'm refusing. Like I am pushing back against this. Like this is not natural, basically.
Yeah. Okay. And as you start to hand out feed and the chickens are, they're ever since the incident with the break in the fence and everything that happened after that, I don't want to drop any bad memories, so I won't go into the details. You have noticed that the animals have seemed a lot calmer, and
she feeds them by name. She's like, here, Georgie, here, Philomena.
You named one after George?
Every time I see George in school, I see the chicken. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
You are so alike. Always eating stuff.
Those are actually the friends Cecilia talks to her parents about all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, George let me feed her by hand today. It was crazy.
She only ran away twice. I found her under the bleachers.
Oh god.
But yeah. So that is the thing that happens in the morning for Cecilia. I don't know if anything else, if anyone else has anything they'd like to point to it for their morning. The only thing I will say is, William, when you wake up, you do not feel rested. You do not feel great. You feel like you got maybe half an hour's sleep, and you feel like your sleep was disturbed the whole night.
Oh, no. He's getting old. Okay.
So
but it's still like a school day, though, right?
still a school day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that sucks, but time to get up.
As a sidebar for Cecilia, you have a date with Rodney on the weekend.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say today, and
No.
I was like,
Not
now,
today, no.
immediately.
I wanted to prepare you for the weekend.
what day are we today, Shibu?
Friday. So
okay.
it's the end of the week. Like, you've got the weekend.
It's Friday. I missed my date with Aaron yesterday.
No, you had your date with Aaron.
Oh, did I? I missed it.
Well,
Must have been really fun.
Yeah, so good.
Memorable.
Yeah.
As with everything with Aaron, it's on and off. What can I say?
yeah. So yeah, that's for you, William. You essentially have a rough night is the best way I can describe it. You did you probably have like some vague idea that you spoke to someone, like maybe you had a dream that you spoke to someone or something along those lines.
Will has never been able to remember his dreams very well. You know, some people like, hey, I can remember my dreams for like hours after, and then they kind of fade away. And some people like, hey, I remember my dreams for 5 seconds, and in the middle of telling about my dream, it's fucking gone. Will is like, hey, I think I dreamt last night. I have no recollection whatsoever. So yeah, it's not maybe more so this time, but it's not super uncommon for him not to remember anything.
As you all go to school, I think Tori, there's one note for you, which is that as you step out your door and as you pull out your driveway, kind of standing, like off to the side a little bit, enough to be noticed, but not enough to be, you know, like standing in front of your gate and being like, "Hello, I am here," is Mr. Gray.
Oh, it's our boy Bertrand. Haven't seen him in a while. All right. I think
you don't get the impression he's not like flagging you down or he's just standing there as kind of like a.
Sure, I imagine there's like a moment of eye contact, right?
A silent
where it's
reminder.
like an acknowledgement of this person being in a place I don't expect them to be in. And he had said like he was gonna contact me at some point. So I think Tori like parks up, you know what I mean? And when you say like is this just like when I'm like you say gate, I'm not sure if you mean like school or house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you're pulling out of the house and going onto the road. And what I'll say is, like, as you're pulling out, you make that moment of eye contact for a second, and he, like, turns and starts walking away after that moment as you're pulling, like, out and around, so.
Okay, so he's, like, not waiting around for me.
No.
Fine.
No. Yeah.
Then, yeah, the acknowledgement, and then she's out of there. But he's close to her home, so it's one of those things where it's like, if he wanted to talk, then it's probably safer to talk to him, like, rather than let him hang around in my house.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think she heads to school. Like, there's the acknowledgement, but that's it.
Okay. So school happens, everybody.
School.
Classes. There's no highlights in terms of classes. You do biology, you do and I will say Mr. Wiggins seems to be a little bit discombobulated. He stumbles over what he's saying he's a kind of nervous person a little bit anyway. And he stumbles over what he says a couple of times, and he loses track of like what he's teaching once. Looks a bit kind of like bags under the eye, quite dark rings around his eyes.
I think this is just the add-in. This is definitely Cecilia's moment to shine, where she wants to be helpful. And so every time he stumbles or like forgets what he was saying, she will like remind him like, "Oh yeah, sir, you were talking about this," and then like doing like the like supporting like head nods.
Yeah. And he, in a kind of absent way, he's yeah, of course, thank you, Cecilia.
Gaining you the ire of literally everyone in class. He's like, stop telling him to do stuff.
At least when he forgets to give you well, I won't say at least. When he forgets to give you homework, does Cecilia remind him?
But okay, so is it obvious that he was gonna do that? Is it something he does every class?
In general, you guys get study and assignments to do.
Here comes the enemies for life moment. Like, extra homework. Every single person in that class will like.
Is it something he genuinely does every class?
I wouldn't say every class. I'd say like the class were expecting an assignment fairly soon. But I wouldn't say that it's like you definitely knew you were going to get an assignment today.
Okay, I can't. Here's the thing. If it's obvious that was going to happen right now, if it's something that he does regularly, if there's a pattern that she can follow, if he already said last time, like, next time I'm going to talk about this, if any of that happened where she knows that he should have talked about that, she will remind him. If it's just out of the blue, she's not gonna. But any other case,
way to go, Cecilia.
Any other case where it's like she knew he had to talk about it, she knows it's coming, she knows that like he should talk about it this time, she will definitely do it.
Okay,
but
no,
not just she won't just ask for homework for the whole class out of nowhere. She can do that for herself, you know?
Yeah.
Like, she can go up to him and ask, like, hey, is there any extracurricular thing I can do? But
No, it was something he was planning on, but he hadn't, like, announced or anything, so it kind of, it would just be something that was lost on the wayside, and he'll remember, like, you know, a day later and be like, oh, by the way, assignment for everyone, so.
yeah.
You guys are getting a biology assignment probably tomorrow, but you escaped today. So, question. During school, this is from the morning through the classes, through clubs and etc. Is there anything anyone would like to highlight or would like to do, essentially? Pretty much, you have your regular classes. If you want to talk to any of the teachers, you know, if you'd like to talk to each other at all or to raise any concerns or anything, yeah, it's all.
I want to. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that was pretty much it. If you have anything. If you have
What do you
anything for
want?
today.
What do you want, George?
I want to bring that book I found to Will. Like 4 episodes ago, I grabbed a book from the library that was like mysterious and like, you know, maybe said something about, I think it was like demons or gods or something like that, because I was trying to figure out what I was.
Oh, yeah.
But I never like looked into it because I don't know what the hell I'm looking for, and I'm thinking like Will is smart.
Okay.
Will is smart.
Would you like to, instead of bringing it to Will, bringing Will to it, as it were, where essentially you and Joel go to grab him and like yank him on, drag him under the bleachers and basically be like, hey, dude.
Absolutely.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
in that case, Will,
Yes.
during lunch, George comes up to you, goes, hey, grabs you, and then drags you outside under the bleachers, where Joel is already kind of sitting and just...
Is Will allowed to finish his lunch, or is this mid-lunch?
I probably grabbed you with your tray in your arm and just start pulling you.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
probably like walking over to sit down for lunch, and then you get dragged with tray, so you end up under the bleachers with a tray of food.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's fine. As long as he gets.
Yeah, you've
his
got
food.
it. You got your
okay,
food.
cool.
I'm not
Yeah.
cruel.
And Joel's like, oh, milk!
Just
Will
starts
will just
picking
go,
off your
"No."
tray.
Wait. Question: This is America. Do you have to pay for the food, or is it like a
Yeah.
school
Yeah.
lunch? Oh, you have to pay. Oh, okay, yeah, no, it's Will's. No one's getting any of it.
Yeah, you absolutely
Yeah,
have to pay.
my milk.
I'd probably plop down and like pull Will down to the ground with me and just like start ripping my bag open and grab that huge. I'm assuming it's some big tome.
Yeah,
you know?
it's a fairly large, ornate, let's call it.
I'll probably throw it on the ground and like look at him like, what is this? Do you know what this is?
What was the title of the book? I can't remember. This was a while ago.
Oof, yeah,
Katie probably wrote it down.
I know it might be in my other book though.
Oh yeah, Katie has already filled the book with fucking notes.
I take that as a compliment.
Yeah.
Okay, well, to save me looking through my ridiculous number of notes, where it's probably buried somewhere in there, I will say that it is called Myths, Legends, and Demons.
It was something literally just like that. It was like
Yeah.
a generic, you know.
I know what is vaguely in the book, so...
Will sits down and then, it has been sat down, and then he puts his tray on the other side of him, away from Joel, so Joel can't reach the tray.
Once Joel gets blocked from grabbing the milk, he essentially like settles back into a fairly
Yeah. Okay. So
fairly
Will puts
casual.
it down, and then he lifts up the book, what's the age Will's getting from the book? Is it like, hey, this is a 37th edition of, whatever, or is it like, oh no, this is the first edition and it's written in 1785?
It's not a book that you'd be familiar with. So
no.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah, no, I'm going by like what it looks like. Does it look old? Because bindings of books now are like paper. Used to be leather.
Yeah. I'd say more leather than.
Okay. What kind of leather? No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, now you led me into that trap.
This is the LZT asking now. What? Okay. Will cracks open the book and like doesn't do the stereotypical open the middle. It opens the first page of the book.
Okay. There's no organization to the book.
Okay.
In terms of like, there's no table of contents that will say like this is where you find this or anything along those lines. But I will give you one point, which is that as you're going through the book and you're basically like, and a lot of it is like weird shadowy creatures with like kind of gangly arms or.
I was gonna ask, what is it? Is it written in English?
Yes.
First of all, is it like modern English or is it like 175? Blah, 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 blah.
It's fairly neutral. I would say more modern than it's not like 70 and 70th years ago.
American or British English? Is there a U in color?
Shut up. Is it handwritten?
No.
It is typed.
Okay. No, I was gonna say if it's American, then Will is probably more inclined to think it's like, oh, someone made this up. If it's Old English, he's more inclined to be like, oh, this might actually be valid stuff.
What I would say is,
So it's not just me taking the piss. It's
no. Yeah. What I would say is it appears to be a copy emulating possibly something older, or possibly it could be, because there's no table of contents, it could just be a compilation of lots of things.
Like a gathered works thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Bibble.
But as you go through, you see many different things. I won't go into the details of all of them right now, but I will highlight one that you do eventually leaf over because you've seen it before.
Okay.
It is the puka.
Ooh, okay.
And it has the illustration of this kind of like lemur looking thing. It doesn't look exactly like the puka, but it looks close enough that it makes you stop on the page. And then you see it says the puka, and then it's got like a few illustrations with like points where it says, like tail and like bat-like ears and etc., like highlighting what it looks like. And then some kind of like, it's essentially the details of it seem to be a mix of myth and legend and maybe slightly more accurate description of the puka itself based on...
Since Will has seen a puka, does it look like whoever's written this has seen a puka?
Possibly not. It's not a one-to-one accurate representation of what you saw. But it is a good enough stylization.
It's close enough.
It's close enough that someone has to have seen one.
Okay.
It may just, it's
Milka
hard to say.
could have been, an odd-looking puka. We don't know.
It's true.
Okay. When Will finds the puka, he just like angles the book towards George and like,
Oh shit!
Cool. Is that a cat?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
Sort of.
Is that like how cats used to look in the medieval times when like there were knights and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh. Man, evolution's weird. Can I have your milk?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then Will kind of hands it over, like a little bit past him, in an effort to make him turn towards the milk in a kind of a fetch way, to like make him look the other way. Leave me alone with the fucking
Almost
book.
throwing it for a
Yeah,
dog.
exactly.
Thanks, buddy. I'm always so thirsty around this time.
Calcium is good for your bones.
Sorry about that.
Consider Joel distracted enough that
Okay.
he's not really going to be listening to what you guys are talking about.
He spends,
Will
like,
definitely
sorry.
skims through the text on Puka.
Yeah, it goes
And
over...
I'm hunched over his shoulder, like,
It goes over the basic details of the puka, how
Okay.
it is a...
There's no like revelation on the third night of spending a night in someone's house and eat your face.
No, nothing like that.
Oh, okay, cool.
It essentially, it's a mischievous spirit.
Yeah.
It's from a lot of different... It's called a lot of different things from a lot of different places. The puka
Okay.
itself is from Wales. And,
So it's
essentially...
not called Milka, it's called like Sinhaden or something.
It's called puka.
Yeah.
And essentially, it is... Other iterations of it is much more renowned for like being a kind of will-o'-the-wisp, a light that draws people away to get lost in the woods or in a swamp or something.
Yeah.
The puka itself it tends not to be quite that bad. It's a bit more mischievous and a bit more vindictive. Essentially, it will...
Hence the pissing on some people.
Yeah. It is essentially, it will latch onto an area and do chores and help people, but it expects a deal, expects a trade, a payment, generally in food. The nicer the food, the more like benevolent a spirit it is.
When he gets to that, Will looks at George and like with Joel distracted, kind of like, "When did you feed him?"
Today is actually the day.
Oh, okay.
Is it gonna eat me if I don't feed it?
Will points to the bit that it says like the nicer food gets the nicer rewards, kind of a deal, paraphrasing, but hey, nicer food means Puka does nicer stuff, and we're like,
Does it say anything else he eats besides milk and bread?
I mean,
Human blood.
Nicer food means maybe like sourdough or
Fancy food.
ooh, like maybe like whole fat milk and sourdough. Maybe he'll, clean a car or something.
Dude, doesn't Cece have cows? She lives on like a farm or some shit, right?
Oh, yeah.
Wonder if she'd milk one for me. I'm gonna ask her later.
Okay. See, Will probably expects this to be a kind of a lexicon of supernatural stuff.
Mm.
He starts flicking through looking for the orb from the church.
Okay. As you go through,
Ooh.
you find many different beasts and creatures and myths and legends.
Yeah. And if he finds the Mananinga, he's gonna fucking look at that thing as well.
The Manangangao.
Mananinga, yeah, what that
The
thing.
mangang.
Mama.
It is indeed in there.
Okay.
It's a lot more horrific. It looks almost like vampire-like.
Yeah.
It's got these big like bat wings and this huge like kind of whip-like tongue, and these like fangs, and it's kind of like detached at the waist. It looks
Because I think the one we saw had a hairnet on it, and I don't think that's in the illustration.
no. And also didn't completely transform.
Yeah.
But also, I don't think Will saw it.
No, he passed out. Yeah, that's true. But he did hear the name, and he kind of figured out phonetically how
He
to spell
did,
it.
and
then
most
look it up.
likely, as you're flipping through, even if he doesn't recognize it, George will almost definitely be like, that thing there, that's
Yeah.
the lunch lady.
Yeah.
So
I'd
yeah.
probably say Miss Peaches.
Okay. He doesn't really look into the Manangangao. He just okay, well, and then he's definitely on the lookout for the orb thing the orb with light that amplifies darkness and summons shadow people because, fuck you.
Yes. So, well, what I'll tell you is, seeing as you don't look into it too much, the only thing you really get then is that its origins is from the Philippines.
Okay.
And the image, which
for the Mananangao. Yeah.
As you're searching through, you do find a will-o-wisp, kind of like an orb.
Yeah.
It doesn't really fit the description for the light, the orb that you saw.
Okay.
In general, it's in remote areas, in woods and kind of more natural places. It doesn't say
Not a church.
It doesn't say you won't find it in the middle of the city, but the descriptions implies that it's not likely.
Yeah.
It also doesn't look that similar.
Okay. So do I not think it was a will-o'-the-wisp then? That's just the
No.
closest we get?
It's the
Probably,
closest.
Will is definitely familiar with will-o'-the-wisps.
Yeah,
Being brought up in the British Isles,
Yeah.
and that's a thing there.
it is.
Okay.
As you go through, you do also come across things like a Doulahan. For those of you who don't know what Doulahan is, a headless horseman type. Banshees,
Draugr.
Draugr, there's a whole load of things really.
Yeah.
From a lot of them are European mythology, but there is also Asian mythology and an African mythology and all this
Yeah.
type of thing. So
So it's like a melange of...
a bestiary. Yeah.
Yeah. Does it say Monsters Manual on the front of it?
It does not say Monsters Manual on the
okay.
front of it.
Wow.
But-
Will looks at George and go like, can I keep this? Because I want to read through this a bit more thoroughly and not under the bleachers.
Bro, of course. It's literally why I brought it here.
Oh.
I took it because I wanted to read about maybe why I am now Mary Poppins suitcase, but you're
Oh.
smart.
Will looks up, because I think we're familiar with the idea of gluttony.
The glutton, yeah.
Yeah, and Will looks up, is there anything for the glutton? Nothing. Okay. So...
Again, there's a few kind of bloaty, large, especially in the section which seems to deal more with demons.
Yeah, I was
there's-
gonna say that more like the I could eat forever thing.
There's
also look
there's a
hideous.
couple that seem quite pestilent and corpulent, but nothing that in any way relates to George and what's happening to George. I'll say as well. You do also. I'm assuming you're looking through reasonably thoroughly.
Well, not now. Not now.
Not
that
now,
that
okay.
will be instead of homework today, if there is any homework. Well, not instead of, but directly after homework.
Okay.
There will be self-imposed homework, which is read this thing.
Okay. Well, seeing as you were looking through for the weird light orb, and for the glutton for George, what I'll say is you don't also in your quick kind of looking through, you don't find anything correlating to you either.
Yeah.
You do, however, find a siren.
Oh,
Okay. So I'm gonna.
Buying on my
Will's
fucking-
going to posit a hypothesis at this point.
Yeah.
This is the book. This is a book of supernatural beings, and what we have are what Ashford described as possessions. So they wouldn't be listed here.
And then why is the siren listed?
Well, the siren is also a Greek mythological being,
I can
which is why the hypothesis holds up to that. I don't think glutton is an actual being; it's an idea and a concept.
so
Same
I,
with
Jeff
the
feels awful
evil
real.
eye isn't like, hey, there's a disembodied evil eye floating around. No, that's a possession.
I can help you with this a little bit as well.
Okay.
The siren, because I'm correct me if I'm wrong here. You see the siren. It says the siren at the top, and it has an illustration in that. I'm assuming you take a look because it's
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So the siren in this book is the mythological creature.
Okay.
It is only found in the sea, on islands and rocks, places where ships can be drawn onto it. It is described as having a siren song that is so tempting that it drives people insane.
Yeah.
It doesn't go into any of the details of what Tori can do.
I think at this point in time, Will is very familiar with the travels, like the Odyssey and the Iliad.
Sure.
He's read both of them, so he knows them from there as well.
That checks out.
But
Aren't they like the creepy birds in the Odyssey and the Iliad, though?
Yeah, they're not. Today, sirens are like, oh yeah, no, they're fish things. No, they're bird people, basically.
What I will say is that and this is probably something that Will's been thinking a little bit in his head for a while. The descriptor of the sirens is nothing similar at all to Tori and what Tori can do.
Okay.
So again, there's a siren, the mythological creature in there. It doesn't seem to correlate the same way the will o' the wisp didn't correlate to the light. There's no connection there.
Yeah, bro, take it. Like, learn something. I don't know what to do with it. It's probably gonna get cleaned at my house.
Yeah, I will definitely read this starting tonight. Will looks over. Is his tray untouched, or is Joel like ass deep in the tray?
No, he only took the milk.
Okay.
He's not that big of an asshole.
No.
He's more like the dog that will sit
or
there
to
with
be
his
fair,
head.
George could have just inhaled the fucking thing.
More likely, the only possibility would be that he forgets that it's not his tray, and he's like, "Oh, food," but he's not that far gone.
Bless his heart.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. Will takes the book and puts the tray on top of it and proceeds to eat his food.
Yeah.
And doesn't say anything because he's mulling through all of this in his head.
So, should we go to the skate park after school?
I mean, yeah. What else do we do? Do you have some grand plans, Joel?
Thought I did.
You did?
Yeah, go to skate park after school.
Will kind of goes, that's a good plan.
George takes a moment. You know what, Joel?
What?
That is an amazing idea. We should do that.
Yeah, we should do that. Roast beef sticking out of his mouth. No, sounds good.
All right, cool. It sounds like a plan.
You're really good at those, Joel. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you. Yeah,
Gravy.
What class do we have?
At that,
next?
I'd probably put my bag back together, put everything back in it that I'd scrambled out, and kind of sit there and look at Will for a second and be like, "So you doing all right?"
Yeah,
Will?
I'm fine. Everything's good.
No. George says that to Will, right?
Yeah.
But you're Joel.
Yeah.
Joel.
No, George says that to Will. Will will look back and like, I know you eat a lot of stuff now, so he's just gonna shimmy away a little bit with the tray and like, oh, my food.
Like a dog protecting its food.
Yeah, pretty much like.
Meanwhile,
coming
Joel's
close and
going
the
on
dog
about
just goes
his like bowel movement from that morning.
Yeah.
That's good, Joel. You know what? That's just great.
Yeah. Mhm. So, what class do we have next anyway?
What do we
I have no idea. What class do we have next?
You know what would be funny?
We don't really go to class that often after lunch, Joel. I'm gonna be honest.
We have classes after lunch.
George and Joel just ditching every day for the second half of the entire day.
You would get in trouble.
I knew burnouts like that.
That'd be so bad. I think we have biology after lunch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think we gotta like cut something open today. They said something about like an earthworm.
You can't cut open an earthworm because then you create another earthworm.
I'm sorry, what?
It's scientific fact. Like, if you cut open an earthworm, you create another earthworm.
Actually, if you cut an earthworm
It's
in
like
half,
cloning.
you get 2 halves of one dead worm.
Joel, is this your way of telling me you're a father?
How would that even work?
I'm assuming you cut a worm open and then there was another one. When a mommy and a daddy.
No, but you know, when I was like helping out in the yard, I was helping my dad dig. I think we were putting in a tree, and I with the shovel I cut like a worm in half and it kept moving, and then both parts like moved away, and they went on their separate worm lives. So it's like cloning. If you want more worms, you just cut them in half, and then they're like 2 worms.
Dead. Yeah, no, they're dead afterwards.
Well, you have a beautiful mind.
Thank you.
Wow. By that logic, wouldn't the world just be overrun by worms?
I mean, like, obviously you have to be careful and not like cut worms in half all the time, but you know.
But I mean, if they're doing it in biology class every year,
That's a lot of worms.
I'm not ready to be a mother, Joel.
I don't think it's like reproduction. You know, like.
I mean, if we're involved in the production of a new worm, bro, how else does the worm get cut in half?
I don't know. I don't think a worm has to get cut in half to have sex. I don't think that's how it works.
Will, this isn't real, right?
This is
No,
the
no,
stonerest
no.
conversation I've ever
Absolute nonsense.
experienced.
Sick. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
If you
yeah.
take an earthworm and cut it in half, you will get 2 halves of one dead worm.
See, brains over here knows what's up.
All I'm
Can't just cut worms up and get baby worms.
I don't know. Like, you know, the 2 parts of the worms moved. That's all I'm saying. Like, it's...
They're called death rolls, Joel.
Is it like when you cut the head of a chicken off and it runs around for a while?
Yep, that's exactly. It's the same thing. It's just smaller.
Oh.
Sick.
Wait, so I
wonder if they're
worm?
alive. Yeah,
I hate to be the one to tell you this, Joel, but you are not the father.
Sweet.
Nah, bro, the worm's probably fine. It probably found its other half and made good. You're cool. You planted a tree. It's like a net gain.
Yeah. Like, kill a worm, plant a tree, the world evens out, you know?
Yeah, but maybe don't like follow that general rule for the rest of your life, killing things and then planting things. To make
I
up
mean,
for
if
it.
we're overrun by worms, I don't see what
Hey
the
Joel,
problem
have
is.
you considered opening a theme park called Worm World?
Please stop giving him ideas.
Why would I do that?
I'm just saying that he could sit
You
there and
wouldn't.
cut worms in
It'd
half.
be fine.
I already see, like, who would go to a theme park about worms?
We're about to go to
children.
an hour-long class where some old person's gonna teach us how to cut one open, so it's not that far beyond the realms.
I
of what-
don't think kids would really enjoy going to a theme park and cutting open worms.
Oh no,
George.
but they would be forced by their parents.
I feel like that would not really be a popular place, you know? Like,
Dude, can you imagine? What if they got some of those like huge African earthworms? They're like as big as my arm, and we were like, don't they have like 8 hearts in there? What if you could like cut it open and see all of them simultaneously beating and undulating inside the worm at the same time? And then what if Joel was right and new worms were born?
I mean,
And
if
now
you
we were
got 8
overrun by
hearts-
African earthworms.
If you got eight hearts, you have to be alive after being cut in half because you got all the hearts.
That's sound logic, bro. Sound logic.
So anyway, the
Joel's your off the cuff Joel brain is so perfect.
we're going to move on as we fade away from
From an
this
argument of
ridiculous-
worms.
this ridiculous conversation.
Thank God.
Is there any more anyone want to talk to anyone else or any
Will has finished his roast beef and gravy and potatoes.
Would Will want to take the book to Tori, or would Will want to take the book home first?
Will
he's
will,
off about-
Will
stuff about
take it to
science.
the skate park and read the fuck out of it.
skate park? Okay.
Okay.
So unless Tori or Cecilia has business with George or William, we'll assume that they finish their school day and head to the skate park. Tori.
I don't think I have any specific business with George or William, so
Okay.
yeah, that seems reasonable.
In that case, are there any other interactions, any moments where you, Cecilia, Tori, do you want to talk to each other, basically? Or any teachers or any people?
Yeah.
What?
I think that depending on how Tori goes between classes and maybe even after school then. Because I feel like Tori mostly has all of her friends around her, and I think that after school is the one moment where people kind of disperse a bit more.
Yeah.
If you'll agree on that. If not, go ahead. But I feel
No,
like
I'm absolutely down.
I feel like at the end of the day then, or throughout the day, Cecilia would have been looking
You're
to find...
just shooting me that like weird eye contact, or you're
No,
like...
not even that. Not even that. Like, you wouldn't notice. She would just be looking for opportunities, but that would be like so imagine you talking with your group in the hallway at one point, and then like way back, like from the corner, Cecilia looks around the corner, sees that you're like.
I was gonna say, can we have a montage throughout the school day where Cecilia's like standing there chatting with her friends and
This is particularly funny when you have like explicit permission to participate in this like social group.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I love Cecilia.
There's a drawn out scene where Tori's like gossiping with her friends for like 10 minutes, and Cecilia walks past like 5 times, just like up and down, like, and none of Tori or Tori's friends notice. Only the camera sees it.
yeah, you're just like in the background a whole bunch. Yeah.
It's like sooner or later they're gonna break up the group and go their separate ways. Like, I'm just coincidentally going to bump into Tori when she's free, and if I keep doing it, sooner or later it'll happen.
Oh.
Magic shit, bro.
Yeah. So.
I would say as a note, most likely, you can find a moment during the day where Tori's free, but it becomes more and more likely towards the end of the day, and I would say probably in the hallway going.
I mean,
home.
there's also absolutely the easy like just the pull aside, deviate to bathroom, stand in front of mirror, talk, kind of thing.
But that's not the goal of all of this. So,
all right.
So I feel like it can even, so it doesn't need to happen after classes, but let's say for now it does. So
Sure.
The moment that classes are done, and like Tori also walks out and starts heading down the hallway, and her friends kind of start dispersing. That will be Cecilia's like moment that she also steps like into the hallway, takes a few steps faster to catch up with Tori.
Yep, she's just like on her way out with like her bag and stuff, and then you catch her as she's leaving.
Yeah. So as she gets next to you, she just goes like, "Oh, hey, Tori.
Hey.
You're also no after school activities. You're heading out.
Yeah, not today.
No swimming practice. No swimming out at a lake.
Most of the time, I have to get back. You know.
Right. You don't. I mean, don't you guys like hang out and shop like
Sure, but like
every day?
Not every day, right?
Oh, right.
And they can hang out without me.
Yeah, they can, but it just doesn't, from what you see, it just doesn't seem like they do. But I'm saying I wouldn't expect it,
So what's up?
And there's like this moment of panic where like there wasn't anything up, like she didn't have anything to tell you. So there's this moment of panic where there's a spark and she's like, shit, I need to come up with something that's up because otherwise it seems like
I mean, like, it's totally reasonable to just be like, nothing, I'm just chatting, you know what I mean? But, like,
so
Cecilia's
she-
just like, yeah, absolutely.
there's like that split second of panic, and then immediately the first thing she goes to is like, you noticed that like Mr. Wiggins was acting weird?
Sure, but, I mean, teacher's got all kinds of stuff going on. I'm just grateful he didn't give us a pile of homework today.
I mean, it's just like, yeah, of course they do, but it's, there's like all but one teacher in this school that are like decent teachers, and he's one of them. And so it's not his usual thing to stand in front of a class and be all tired and messed up like that. It's
Tori like lowers her voice and like steps aside a little bit and goes like, "Are you worried that he's like some kind of problem or
no,
you know, like...
and she immediately like changes their course again to like just be like normal volume again, and just like it's like, no, I'm not talking about any of the sort. Just an observation. I don't know.
Where were you all day anyway? We missed you at lunch.
I was at school here, but you know, at lunch I had a place I needed to tell a teacher something, so I, you know,
Okay, I mean, fair enough, I guess.
yeah. How is your quick reminder of myself. Does Rodney hang out with the friend group?
On and off, yeah. Yes.
On and off, yeah.
He's a friend of Aaron's.
Everybody's a friend of
So-
Aaron.
All
Yeah.
right. So on and off. So
He's on the basketball team with Aaron as well, so.
all right, good enough. So like, yeah, you couldn't be there at lunch. Was Rodney with you guys at lunch?
What do you think, Sheepy?
Probably not. He was probably like, Aaron doesn't tend to hang with you guys at lunch and stuff. He's like
Two
not-
separate social groups, right? That like
Yeah.
occasionally meet. Yeah.
Oh, let me rephrase the sentence a bit
Yeah.
and make it like, so was Rodney around at lunch, and Aaron, of course, the both of them.
They get up to like a whole bunch of their own stuff. They play basketball or whatever. I don't know. I didn't
At
see them.
lunchtime?
Sure.
Oh yeah, sure. All right. I imagined that, you know, because you guys are a thing and all, that you would spend your lunches together.
Tori, like, there's a little bit of like a polite smile at that, and she's like, Aaron and I are kind of, you know, like on and off, like whenever.
Oh, on and off?
You know, like we're good one day, and then we have a fight, and then we make up, and then there's another fight, and so on.
And is that like something you're looking for? I don't mean to, you know, I don't mean to, if that's something you're looking for, that's totally fine. It's not a judgmental call or anything. It's just,
She's like, he's a good guy. We just like butt heads sometimes, you know?
yeah. And, but then-
I have strong opinions. He has strong opinions. Happens.
But then you guys like totally make up again, right? And you're like,
Well, yeah, of course.
And actually, you hear from down the end of the hallway, Tori, hey! And Aaron has his hand up as you like turn around, and he like pauses for a second, and then he walks towards you. He's like, "Sorry, I didn't realize you were talking to someone."
Don't worry about it. I was just about to. My car is right over there, so I was just about to walk
Tori,
off.
Tori,
No,
like,
no,
to
no.
Tori,
add
like,
in-
Tori, like, ropes you back in. You're all like, I'm leaving. She's like, Aaron, Cecilia, Aaron, you've met before. We went to the lake together.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Yeah, I remember Cecilia. Yeah. It's nice to see you again.
To sketch a picture, the moment like Tori was talking about they're on and off, like they have discussions, they make up again. The moment she started talking about that, and she like, and the moment Erin caught her attention and she looked
Yeah.
at them, the only thing she could imagine was that, you know, Cecilia's mind is very much romance novels, like the stereotypes of romance. So Tori right now put herself in the category of like having heated discussions and passionate makeout after that. So like the
Yeah.
moment Tori said that, like she sees Aaron there and she gets uncomfortable because the only thing she can think about is like, I don't want to be here when they have a discussion and like they start passionately making out.
That's
Yeah,
not. It's never gonna happen like in public. Oh my
And
God.
as you know, as he says hey to you, he turns to you, Tori, and says, "Tori, hey, I'm sorry about yesterday. I agreed to help one of my neighbors. Essentially, they needed some yard work doing, and the time got away from me.
I think Tori would usually like give him the business at this point and be like, "What
Yeah.
the hell? Like we made a plan, kind of thing." But there's this like moment of like a different attitude where she's just like, "It's whatever. I was busy anyway." So
Oh, okay, good.
kind of worked out.
Hey, maybe reschedule weekends.
Sure, yeah, Sunday.
Sunday. Yeah, that sounds good. Okay.
All right.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt your conversation.
You don't have to apologize so much. It's a conversation. You're not interrupting a secret UN meeting or something.
Yeah.
It's
no,
you know, I could just I
No,
really, if you
no.
guys want to talk,
Hey,
you know, I don't mean to step in. It's
Cecilia, right?
really fine. Yeah.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, Rodney was talking about you. He said you guys
Oh.
have a date on Saturday.
Oh, he did.
Yeah. He seems really excited.
That's that. Thanks. That's actually yeah.
Tori is looking at you like as soon as Aaron walks away, I'm going to ask a lot of questions.
Anyway, I got basketball practice, so I got a jet. But good luck on Saturday, Cecilia, and Tori. I'll see you on Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay, great. See you later. It's lovely to meet you again. And
There's the moment he starts like the goodbye starts happening. Cecilia is like looking between the two of them, like not like knowing what to expect. Like, is this like she's just gonna say goodbye and just walk away? Like,
yeah,
he goes, and
he
Tori
goes.
like waves after him briefly, and then turns to you with like, you can see the questions like in her brain. You know what I mean? Like, she's like, Rodney, huh?
What about Rodney?
What do you mean? What about him? You didn't tell me you were going on a date Saturday?
I had not realized we yeah, no, I haven't told you yet.
Tori in faux outrage is like, ugh, you sleep over at my place and then you don't even tell me about the boy you're gonna go out with? Come on.
We,
violated the sleepover.
How
it
dare
kind of
you.
to be honest, it wasn't really the moment. I felt like we were both really tired from almost dying. So
Okay, well, I have a couple minutes. You can make it up to me right now.
right. So, um, so I work at this hospital, and I was doing my volunteer work, and Rodney was there because he got injured. And so I helped him a bit, and I sat with him a bit, and then he asked if I wanted to go out on a date. And so I said yes because I, well, you know, Rodney and I worked.
Tori cuts you off and says like the fact that you're this tongue-tied means you're absolutely far too excited about this. I love it. Great. So where are you going?
Cecilia blushes at that moment. She's like, yeah, no, so yeah, you know, we worked on the Sadie Hawkins dance, back in a while ago, and you know, but he had a girlfriend, sorta, yeah. It's complicated.
If you're having this much trouble talking to me about it, how are you gonna be with him?
I don't know. Just
confidence. That's what you need. Just straight up.
Very quickly.
I'm confident in a lot of things.
Yeah, except for right now where you're tripping over yourself trying not to tell me a single detail.
Tori, very quickly, could you...
Mm-hmm.
Could you give me a change the game?
I changed the game. All right.
What did you say? That wasn't a question.
This will be
Oh, sorry, I just clicked it.
Oh, no problem. You can reroll. So this will be based on observation.
Observation. Okay.
Which I will say
I do not have any observation tags, admittedly.
I think
I have a lot of like.
I think performance would work for this. I also think relationships would work for this.
Okay, all right, that makes sense.
So you can roll with 2.
Delightful. I'm just trying to click on stuff.
What's the role name she was rolling again?
Change the game.
Thank you.
Essentially.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Ha! Great success.
Ooh. Okay. So you notice that there is a student who is kind of like down the hallway by the lockers a little bit, who has essentially, he walked up and he opened the locker and he's, you know, kind of going through it, but you clock him because you're very aware of, you know, people in general.
People's attention.
Especially in your territory.
My territory.
And what you realize is, like, he is taking his time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that you have to react to this or anything. I'm just saying that you clock it and you're like, that dude's taking quite a while to,
In your territory.
In your territory, how dare he?
So I think there is like a pause in the conversation when she notices this.
Especially with Cecilia stumbling a little bit.
And but no, right now Cecilia was talking, so if there's a pause from Tori and her attention drifts away, Cecilia will keep talking. She'll keep going like, I'm confident in a lot of things. I'm super good at everything I do. It's just, you know, romance is novel stuff, you know, movie stuff. It's you know, it's what.
All right, but here's the thing. Who's the greasy little nerd and why is he paying you so much attention? She says, like, looking down the hallway.
There is, and just FYI, are you saying that Soto voice so that he can't hear? Because he's reasonably close.
I mean, he'd be able to hear, like, murmuring of us talking, right?
Okay.
But, like, distinct words, maybe not.
Okay.
But I mean, she does literally like look at him. Like,
yeah,
there's
he's got his locker open, and it's like kind of half covering his face. You know, in that kind of like, I'm busy, I'm in my locker, so he's not looking at you. He won't clock you.
so
You know.
so she says that, but then she adds like, unless I've got it wrong, and I mean he's looking at me, but I never seen him before.
Who are we talking about?
She like does a little gesture down the hallway.
And I imagine Cecilia looks there, but like the dude's like just covered by his locker at this moment.
Yeah. He you recognize him, but you can't remember his name. He's
Yeah,
quite
absolutely.
He's quite short. And you're like, I swear I've spoken to him a couple of times, but you don't.
I think he's like in at least one of my after school clubs. But he's just busy in his locker. What?
Yeah, busy for like 5 full minutes while we're talking. Okay. And she says, "Here, we'll do a little experiment. You go first. I'll go the other stairwell, and we'll see what happens."
All right. So I guess do you mean we're gonna see each other again outside, or is this like, do I say goodbye now, or
Do we need to talk more? Have fun on your date.
all right. You have fun on yours as well?
You have my phone number. Like, if you need to talk to me, like, it's not that hard. Okay.
Right.
Don't have to do all the sneaking around stuff. It's fine.
Right. All right. I'll
So
take
go on.
that.
You first. Like, Tori's just like, we're done talking now.
Yeah.
I'll take that stairway then.
Yeah, and Tori just turns back to her like locker or something and just like, you know, dig something out of her bag or whatever.
And when Cecilia goes, she walks off. There's like maybe a 10-second delay, and that student is suddenly like, oh, you know, closes his locker and starts like shifts his books and starts walking out towards the exit of the school and out towards, you know, time to leave school kind of thing. It's what I'll say is Tori having the knowledge of things that she has, it seemed like he was looking for an excuse to hang around and eavesdrop on the conversation for whatever reason.
Fair enough. That makes sense. If he goes to follow Cecilia.
No, he walks in the other
No?
direction.
He walks in the other direction? Okay. All right. I was going to say, like, if he crosses my path close enough for me to be like, hey, what's your deal? Like, I would just, like, straight up, like, confront him.
No, he walks off. If you want, you could totally, you know, chase him down and you know, confront him, but no, he doesn't walk past you guys.
Now, you know what? I'm going to wait until he turns to leave.
Yeah.
And then as he's leaving, I'm just going to call down the hallway, hey.
And as you do, like, he kind of, like, his whole body, like, jolts, and his books, like slip from his grasp and just on the floor. He goes, oh, and then, like, bends down and starts picking them up, and...
She literally waits until he's done picking things up. She doesn't move, like, from her position.
Yeah, he finishes picking them up. They're a little bit askew. There's bits of paper, like, sticking out, and he, like, kind of, like body turns a bit towards you, like... Sorry, were you talking to me?
Yeah, you. And she, like, she gives him, like, a come here, you know?
Okay. And he, like, kind of shuffles forward, and a couple of papers fall out from between his arms, and he walks up to you, and he's, sorry, can I help?
She smiles in a way that suggests this is gonna be a pleasant conversation. Like everything's chill.
Oh, he's on edge. Like
totally fine.
He tenses up more, maybe.
And then she just says like, "So what's your deal?"
My deal? Like
Yeah.
Like what do you mean?
Why are you listening on us like a perv?
No, I was just getting my books. I was going to head home.
Come on.
What? No, it's true.
What, do you like her or something?
Who?
Cecilia.
No.
He's like super light.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, he's
like,
super
this,
light, like, and he's nervous and he's twitchy and he's starting to sweat a bit. As a sidebar, he's like 5'2" or 5'3". Like, he's a super short dude.
Tori, again, like tries to bring it back from like I've just accused you of being a weirdo to like a pleasant place. There's like this conversational whiplash happening where like vicious commentary plus kind demeanor.
Yeah.
And she says, "Just getting your books." Yeah, that's what you said.
Yeah, books. Yeah, look, books.
Okay. Here's my advice.
Uh-huh.
Don't creep around. Just be direct if you can, yeah? Because you just look like kind of a weirdo right now.
Okay. Thanks for the advice. Can I go?
This is like absolutely one of those conversations where it's like Tori is like so unembarrassed because she doesn't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And she's like, "You know what? Leave Cecilia alone."
Yeah, okay.
No, that was magic time.
Oh. Okay.
I knew it.
Sorry, I have to... Okay. And his eyes go like slack. Like there's like almost like you see the disconnect in his brain for a second as it takes on the order and processes it. And then so is there anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay. And then he just turns and kind of like shuffle runs away.
Or he like heads up the opposite staircase to this guy, smugly thinking she's done her good deed for the day. Get this loser off her case, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
I have a feeling I fucked something major up because of the way that
This is my
responsible.
good deed for today. I
Yeah.
ruined love for someone.
Yeah, just blowing this guy's mind. Yeah, you know.
I had to process that. I was not expecting you to like full siren him. Okay. Carrying on.
The power of confident high school girls. What can I say?
Yeah. So Cecilia, I'm assuming heading home reasonably soon.
Reasonably soon, as in like immediately, because there's no reason to hang around.
Okay. And Tori, same thing.
That's a good question. I'm not exactly sure what Tori's gonna be doing. I almost feel like there's probably home,
All right.
to be honest. There's gotta be something unhome that she could do, but I can't think of it right now, so yeah.
She could go to the skate park coincidentally.
Well, in that case,
Not going to the skate park, Jesus.
in that case,
You could go to the mine, coincidentally.
I will say, Tori, given the situation you were in there, where Cecilia kind of left, I would say you probably exit first. And as you leave the school and you start walking towards the car park, you see a skinny, kind of dark, like gaunt figure, quite pale again, standing like off more towards the road, the sidewalk, away from there, just kind of by one of those big, like, bush, the big kind of round bushes that you get at schools and stuff. Just kind of hanging there and, slouching a little bit. Additionally, I'll say, like, when you exit, which can be any time after Tori, basically, you get a tense feeling, like things around you are a little bit skittish, a little bit scared. And
are we gonna have a conversation with a dark figure? I love it.
Well, it's Bertrand Gray.
I know.
But he's essentially hanging out just down the road, not like near your car or anything.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think Tori, noticing that he's around, like, skips the whole getting in her car thing and, like, goes to see what he's doing here.
Did Tori know before this moment that her mind fuckery didn't work? Or would this be? Because remember,
Bertrand,
like at the very beginning, she said,
he did.
He
No,
turned
he
up at
did.
her house.
He turned up at her house.
"Oh, yep," and was just sitting with her dad. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm sick. My brain's stupid. Thank you.
So I think she just like walks down past the like chain link or whatever around the parking lot and like goes to like see what he's doing, just like lingering here.
Yeah.
After putting like her bag and stuff into her car.
Yeah.
You know?
And he's just kind of like staring out, like away from the school, kind of in towards the town a little bit. There's like, trees and field in this area. It's fairly open, like
She's like, people are gonna start asking questions if you keep hanging around like a weird psycho.
And his head kind of turns and he looks at you for a second and says, I wasn't really sure the best way to contact you. I thought that maybe you'd come looking for me if I turned up outside your house. But I decided to come to the school as well, just in case.
Yeah, the problem with hanging around outside my house, same problem as hanging around here. You look like a psycho.
I don't intend to do it again.
So, you wanted my attention? I'm here.
We should talk. Do you have time?
Sure. There's a coffee shop not far from here. That work?
I'll see you there. And he turns and starts walking down the road.
She goes to like get in her car.
In that case, Cecilia, I don't think you'll like notice any of that. All I'll say is that the tense feeling, if you do feel it when you step out, dissipates reasonably quickly.
I think there's like the sketch the scene, you step out, like look around, feel that, like just like shiver for a moment and be like, huh, weird.
I'm totally cool if Cecilia like sees me coming back to my car after having like talked to somebody near the fence. You know what I mean?
But
like,
we can't talk anymore.
Well, no, you can.
Tori said that it was the end of the talk.
She did say it was the end of the talk. That's true. But what I'll say, Cecilia, is you do notice Tori for like the end part of the conversation, just having a quick exchange with this weird kind of skinny, gaunt-looking guy. Who then turns and leaves, and she turns and goes to her car.
Suspicious.
I would say it's enough of something to be like, what the hell? But,
Mental note made.
I'm assuming...
okay. No coming up and being like, what the fuck was that? All right.
No,
Yeah.
but because the conversation is done, Elf. It was over.
But that one was, this is a new conversation.
Yeah.
No, but it was you can call me. It was clear. It was crystal
Okay,
clear.
all right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're not confident about just like starting it up again. Got it. Got it.
No.
Cecilia is skittish.
No, I like it. It's good.
So I think we'll go to you pulling up at the car park in town near the coffee shop, and you see him essentially sitting at a table outside with a coffee.
Okay. Okay.
A little bit of steam coming off it.
Well, I mean, she's gonna go and like sit down, I guess, meet up with him. She picked the coffee shop not because she wanted coffee, but because it's just a place people tend to meet.
Yeah. When you sit down, he says, "So,
You wanted my attention. You have it, like I said. What are we talking about?
you asked for some help regarding a man to whom you're in debt."
Yep.
What was his name again?
I told you last time. Ashford.
Right.
With the sunglasses and the
Sunglasses and
haughty, strange accent and demeanor.
strange demeanor. I said that it would take me maybe a week to prepare. It should be able to deal with it tonight, one way or another.
Sorry?
I should be able to deal with it tonight, one way or another. I can't promise that it'll go according to plan, but
When you say deal with it, what do you mean?
I'm going to talk to him.
You're gonna talk to him?
I'm going to talk to him.
He doesn't seem like much the talking about this type.
No, he isn't ready.
Okay, so what do you mean then?
I should be able to make a deal with him. Most likely. Usually it works out fine.
So you're not gonna like disappear him or anything? This isn't that kind of conversation?
If I had figured out a way to do it, I would have done it by now.
She sort of like processes, thinks on it, and then says, okay, so why tell me that you're gonna do it now? Why not just do it and then tell me after?
There is a possibility of some blowback
On me?
on the town.
Like what kind of blowback? Like what's the risk here?
It's been quite a while since he lost his temper, but a couple of buildings missing maybe.
That's kind of a lot.
I arranged to meet in a fairly secluded area. It should be fine. Maybe a crater at most.
This doesn't exactly sound like a conversation.
The plan is to have a conversation. Things do not always go to plan.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, I guess if he's gone, then I don't have to worry about him anymore, so...
Unlikely he'll be gone.
Well,
But-
okay then.
I will do my best to help you out of your situation.
Just as long as it doesn't end up with me in another situation.
You will be working with me. That's part of our agreement.
We made a deal that I would make a certain amount of money for you.
We did.
You said 25,000. That's a lot less than what he's asking.
That's all I need. I should clarify, it's all I need your help with getting. I can always use more money.
Yeah, I mean, who can't?
So, be aware. I'll wait for you here tomorrow.
After school again? Or no, Saturday. So when?
Oh, there isn't school tomorrow.
No.
In the morning?
Sure, yeah.
And we'll just go with like we'll say that you guys agree on like 8 a.m. or something, yeah, like 9, 10 a.m. or something.
Early, yeah.
And he like looks down at his coffee, which he hasn't touched. Well, that appears to be it. Unless there's anything else you need to talk about.
No, I just want to make sure that all of our, all of my friends, I guess, are safe. And
The deal wasn't for your friends, it was just for you. I'm not risking myself for them as well, unless there's a better deal coming.
what kind of better deal?
More money.
How much more?
Well, getting you out of your deal was 25,000. Let's say 3 more, so 100,000 total.
I don't actually know if this is what they want, though.
Well, I will get you out of the deal, and let me know if you decide to include your friends. Incidentally, have you had any unseen repercussions yet by telling people what to do?
Repercussions? Like what? No?
You have to be careful how you phrase things.
I mean, I've been being as careful as I can.
For example, if you tell someone to disappear, what they are going to do is to try and disappear. If you tell someone to get lost, which I believe is a common phrase that people your age use nowadays.
A common phrase of the youth.
If you tell someone to get lost, they will go and get lost. Your intentions will be for them to leave. They will instead find themselves in a place they have no idea where they are.
Sure, yeah. Be specific.
Be careful. Although,
What else do you know about this? I only know that I can do this thing. Like, what happens if I do it a whole lot, or if I don't know, get caught on camera, or what I need to know more about, like, what I can do and who I am, what I am.
it is difficult. This is a fairly unique situation. It doesn't happen very often. So there are trends that we can draw off. However, it's hard to tell exactly. You are aware that this town has become a bit of a, let's call it sinkhole for the supernatural.
Yeah, it's drawing things in.
Originally not. Originally things were driven here. However, as you get more and more, they tend to form what would be considered a gravity well of supernatural energy.
Sure, it's like a black hole. The more it's, the more matter it consumes, the larger it gets.
Yes. At a certain point, there is too much energy, and there are too many things being drawn here, and things are created. Things based off imagination, off fear, off desire.
So you're saying that like the stuff that's happened to me and my friends is
The product of our own minds, yes.
it's just like leftover magic.
That's one way of putting it. Close enough.
Doesn't really answer my question. Are you saying you don't know?
I'm saying that it is extremely likely the more you use, the more you become accustomed to what you can do, the more you'll find out the depths of what you can do. A lot of it is limited only by imagination and the minds that created these entities.
So you're saying that if I keep doing it, it will change.
And you will get stronger.
There's a thought, and I'm sure that Bertrand Gray can see it in her eyes, that there is a thought that's like strong enough to make you fuck off forever. You know what I mean? Like there's this moment of silence. And she says, "Okay. That's something, at least."
So, does that satisfy your curiosity?
Yeah, it does. For now. I'll see you tomorrow. And I don't think getting you your money will be that difficult.
No, I assume it would be quite easy with your ability to control people.
Just don't hurt my friends, okay?
I have no interest in your friends.
None?
They have no benefit to me.
She shakes her head and says, "Okay, well, I'll see you tomorrow then." And she gets up to leave.
Good luck.
You're the one who's gonna need good luck.
And he picks up his coffee, blows on it even though it stopped steaming a while back, and sips it as you walk off.
Yep. Get in my car, head home.
Get in your car, head home. So, we will go to... Fading into the skate park. William, George, Joel is there too.
Thank God for Joel, right?
Of course.
Great.
Yeah, guys are hanging out. Joel has done a little bit of skateboarding, but not too much because he's kind of tired and he's had a long day thinking about worm reproduction.
Is he good at that, by the way?
Skating?
Yeah.
Not really.
Not worm reproduction, skating.
Joel?
Yeah.
I always pictured him like one of those like recklessly like, he's better than most, but not.
I
good.
always pictured that he was like stoner savant at skating. You know what I mean? It's like
So-
the one thing he was really good at.
He's decent at skating, but he doesn't have any commitment to learning.
Oh.
He just kind of, by being around skate parks when he was growing up and as a kid, and then into his teens, he learnt everything.
He learned by association.
He essentially learned by osmosis. But nothing super impressive or like, you know, the more kind of like super enthusiastic into it type stuff. It was very much the basics. He can kickflip, he can ollie, you know, he can
Do a kickflip.
he can maybe grind for a couple of seconds before he falls off. He doesn't have the best of balance. So
Joe merely adopted the skate.
Heartwarming. He's just heartwarming.
currently he is hanging with both of you. 'Cause
His entire attitude is just big dumb dog. Like that's just like, the
Like
vibe,
just a big lab. Yeah. Like.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know if there's anything you guys particularly want to touch on or anything, but
I mean, they can have fun with the skating stuff.
Yeah.
Will is reading the book
I
from
assume
cover to
so.
cover.
Yeah. And there's a lot of there's a lot in there, let's say.
Yeah.
I'd say I'm probably like distracting Joel.
Yeah.
Like, show me another
first
trick,
thing
bud.
Will does. The first thing Will does is read very, very carefully, like Puka, Manananga, and like things he recognizes that we have faced.
Yeah.
Because if there is something dark and disturbing at the Puka, he probably wants to know so he can tell George. As opposed to like, oh yeah, I didn't read the fine print. It says right here, he will, rip your face off if you don't give him at least 200 calories.
Yeah.
Or like other creatures,
Sugar.
maybe that like go along with a Menangangal or something, you know? Like, does
Yeah.
Menangangal have a partner or a mate, a life mate that's coming for us?
Oh, no, you're safe in that regards.
Okay.
Thank you.
I will say you do stumble upon the chupacabra as well.
Oh, that's cool.
Ooh.
The picture looks.
Did we know that what was torn apart was the chupacabra?
Yeah, it was mentioned. Ashford said.
Ashford
Okay.
stated it,
Yeah.
explicitly.
Oh, okay, cool. Yep.
It looks like a mix between a kind of skinny hyena coyote and a like monitor lizard, or like a one of those big kind of like Komodo dragon type vibes.
Yeah.
Mm.
And
Whenever I hear Chupacabra, I think of Red versus Blue, like really early episodes of Red versus Blue.
The details of it, what it says is it eats creatures of proportional size to itself, and after it eats, it goes underground for a day or two to hibernate and grow. So every time it eats, it hibernates and grows for a couple of days, comes back and eats something bigger, and essentially continues to grow and to grow. There is a part in the description that posits possibly some of the sightings of things like werewolves or yetis or Sasquatch could be a slowly developing chupacabra.
Wow. Well, as long as it doesn't eat any blue whales and goes into like 60-foot territory, we should be good.
I could probably eat blue whale.
As they hunt larger and larger prey, they become more and more aggressive.
Oh, really? Well, that's helpful.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want it to be the other way. No.
One of the problems is after it gets to eating things like big livestock like cows and stuff, that's when it will start to attack humans and become very overt. Essentially, that's when it needs to be that's when it's difficult to deal with, and when it
That's
really
what I was gonna say.
needs-
That's when it needs to be handled.
Yeah, and it's also it's difficult to deal with and important to deal with it before it gets to that size.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. But that one's dead, so
Yeah, Cecilia ripped it apart.
yeah,
Which kind of makes Cecilia more scary too, I think.
yeah, exactly. As Cecilia mentioned.
Is there
Have you
any...
grown at all? Has anyone noticed?
Has Cecilia grown?
Yeah, she's like Mary and Pippin when they drink the water in Fangorn.
I am the chupacabra.
Not as far as anyone has noticed.
As far as anyone has noticed.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I like the idea that you're suddenly 4 inches taller and no one's fucking noticed.
what I will say going forward for you, William, and obviously I'm assuming that you study the book a couple of times, like going
yeah.
over the things.
I mean, this
over-
is his
yeah.
jam.
Yeah, over the course of the next, the few days or so, I'll say that you will still rely on rolls a little bit as we go forward, like to recall very specific things. But you are studying and you are reading up on certain things. Like, I'm not going to promise everything is involved. However, is there anything aside from the standard that you're looking for that you're looking out for that, So-
Will definitely have a look at after the graveyard with things coming up and the guy putting it back down. Will wants to have a look at like, what crawls out of the graves 40 years after it's been buried or whatever.
Okay.
And then he probably like tries to look up things that sound familiar, like banshees and stuff like that, because he has heard of them. And there's like, oh, actually, what is a banshee? Like actual banshee, what is it?
Yeah. So there are 2 different types of, in this book at least, of essentially like walking corpses.
Okay.
Pardon me.
Is one of them a zombie?
No.
Okay.
There is a lost soul, which is essentially someone who has escaped, essentially like a ghost.
Okay.
That has escaped the afterlife or has become lost and comes back to their body
Oh.
and repossesses it.
See, I would make a Doctor Who reference here, but you wouldn't know what the fuck I'm talking about, so.
The other type are ghouls. Ghouls
Okay.
are demons that are summoned and they possess a dead body to carry out a task for their summoner.
Oh, okay. So it's like an undead Mr. Meeseeks. Okay.
The only
Yeah.
the only exception to that is a demon that is summoned and isn't given the correct or appropriate sacrifice.
Okay.
That demon is then unbound by the summoner and free to possess dead bodies and do whatever it likes.
That's not good.
So you have to be essentially for the lost souls, they're not generally super aggressive. They're just a pain. And they depends on the soul itself, on the person itself. What they do. Like sometimes you get people who just died, they manage to drift back into their body, repossess it, and they look a little bit like weird and a little bit disheveled, and they go home and they, try and make up with their wife and then die because they're like, oh, and now I'm happy. So it's unfinished business, that type of thing.
Okay.
The ghouls are,
But they're not like necrophages. They don't eat dead things and hang around in graveyards and stuff like that.
Not the lost souls, no.
Okay.
The ghouls do. So they are
necrophages. Okay.
They're aggressive. They eat people. They kill and eat people and animals, and essentially they are a much more aggressive and destructive force when they are unbound from the summoner. Which the book does say doesn't happen too often. It's only when it's a very only when someone finds the rituals and things and doesn't do enough research or.
Okay. So someone meddles with forces beyond their understanding, basically.
Yeah, in general, a demon summoner will summon a demon, give it a command, it will go and do that thing, and then be essentially banished, but unsummoned back to wherever it came from.
Okay. That's good to know. What else?
What about the black smoke? Because you're the one that saw that, right? Like the smoky shit around the library.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. The smoky shit we've seen.
You didn't see it
like,
around me, so you wouldn't know that, but you did
Oh.
see it definitely around your chest, people, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
The library, mist library.
And it
Maybe
would-
like environmental magic or something.
yes.
Yeah, or supernatural things that emit mist, either as a means of transportation, concealment, marking territory, anything like that.
Turning into mist.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I would say there are references on the vampire section to vampires turning into mist, but
Yeah.
it appears to be more like a fog mist as opposed to a
Yeah.
black. Also, just as
The following reports are unconfirmed.
as an aside, there are actually two different types of vampires, which are called vampires. One of them are the traditional kind of "Blair, I want to suck your blood."
the count, basically.
Yeah, the Count Dracula type style vibes. The other is a much smaller, kind of impish type creature.
Oh,
That
okay.
is described as essentially like a pest or the equivalent of like a mosquito. It's kind
Oh,
of
okay.
a pain, but it's not really dangerous or anything.
Ah,
So
I see.
there are a couple of different.
Could it travel in large packs and then be dangerous?
Yeah, like tiny, like tiny.
Like a flock?
Oh, I can't remember the name of tiny dinosaurs from Jurassic Park. The
Yeah,
tiny ones.
They
Oh god, yeah, I don't remember.
they aren't particularly there aren't that many of them, so they don't really like coalesce into herds.
Oh,
or
I see
anything.
what you're saying. Yeah, there's not like that enough of them to live like that. Okay.
Yeah, in general, it's a bit like the puka in that way, where
Okay.
it's kind of like off by itself somewhere and occasionally tries to suck something's blood. Generally like a cat or a dog or something. Just
Yeah.
and even that it doesn't pose much of a threat to. Again, it's pretty small. It's kind of like hand sized.
It's basically like a real vampire bat. I think that's basically how they live.
However,
It was called a sturge, right?
No, it just says vampire twice.
yeah, they're both called.
Oh,
vampires.
just two types. Okay, sorry.
two different
Yeah.
types of vampires.
Bad vampires
Sorry.
and nuisance vampires.
I will say that there is a reference to redcaps. And the fact that they like to start fires and
Okay, it's like arson
so they
Red
are
cap.
shits.
it stands out to you because it does mention smoke.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Okay, so I don't think that's it though, right? Because we didn't see any fires. It was just like a mist more than a smoke.
It was less a mist, less a smoke. It was more kind of like flakes in the air.
Oh, okay.
So if you, I just want to just because I know Will would remember this because he's so type A. We
Yeah.
did when we were all in the library and you were looking for books. I smelt weird egg fart sulfur smells, and I told you about it.
Oh yeah, brimstone.
I don't know. I
Sulfur
probably
and
wouldn't know that
brimstone.
word as George, so I said weird egg farts or
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
like that.
weird egg farts.
Sulfur and
But
brimstone.
maybe I don't know if that
Was
would have
that-
anything
was
to do
that
with
Will's
that, but
eye
just like
making
I
that
just went
smell?
over our notes about it.
What I will say, Will, is in this instance, could you please roll me investigate?
I could
Oh,
definitely
bitch.
do that.
Because I'm not sure this will stand out to you. It's gonna depend on how well you do, basically. So
Okay, I want to bring in obscure knowledge and researcher.
I would say obscure knowledge wouldn't work in this instance.
Okay, well,
but
researcher then.
Researcher definitely does. High focus as well.
Yeah. High motivation, smart.
Yes.
Studious? No, not really.
For example, also, I don't think hyper-focused would be a weakness here because
Yeah.
you're focusing on the right thing.
Yeah.
I would say yeah, that
Okay.
works.
Let's see. So, what investigate? You said, right?
Yes, please.
Oh, poopy. A
Oof.
1 and a 2.
Okay.
Mild success.
Mild success. Let me just.
The lowest I could have rolled was a 6, and I rolled a 7.
So. You. What I will say is, you find what you want, but you're going to miss something else.
Okay.
As a as a part of the mild success.
Yeah.
Yes, you find a reference that catches your eye. And the image is the first thing that stands out to you. They're kind of they're kind of like really razor sharp teeth. And like this very smooth white kind of like bone-like head. No eyes at all, and these kind of like little protrusions coming out. They look very demonic.
Yeah, that doesn't sound nice at all.
Also, kind of like a bone white version, like their face and everything looks a bit like the bone white version of the alien. Not quite as like jolty outy, you know what I mean? Like it's not like elongated like that. It's just kind of a short head. They don't seem to be particularly big, kind of around about knee height, so, you know, like pretty small.
Yeah.
And they are called Alps.
Alps?
Alps.
How do you spell that?
A-L-P.
Okay, like the mountain. Okay.
Yes.
What do I find out about them?
So they...
If I find them, I'll like, okay, let's read this one, because I'm not really interested in Joel trying to do like a kickflip into a nollie.
What they do is they invade dreams, and they cause restlessness, a feeling of tired fatigue.
That strikes home.
They discombobulate people, and they are the way you can, and this is what caught your eye, the way you can tell that they've been influencing people is because there is this like rising kind of flaky misty smoke that is emanating from people and from them.
Oh, okay. So if Head and Shoulders starts selling a lot more, then okay. But I haven't manifested my eyes. I can't tell. I'm not gonna do it here, obviously.
Yeah. Also, it requires repeated.
So it's not like one time that you start fuming. It's.
Yeah, no,
okay.
It's after like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It starts.
I see. I definitely show this to George though.
Yeah.
Like, if you look for me, I'm literally probably asleep in the bowl, like in a bowl of like one of the.
Oh yeah, concrete bowls. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the concrete kickflip bowls because of you don't know, but I have not been sleeping at all.
I pick up a loose piece of wax that people have been doing for the grinding on the edges and stuff, and like chuck it at George.
Yeah, like hits the edge of your sneaker and.
Yeah, I'd probably like do the whole like roll out of it sideways, freak out, pop up. What?
And Will, who is like 10 meters away, just goes, "Come look at this."
Oh, sick. Yeah, I'll probably like look for Joel, make sure he's still like in my eye line. See the child. Okay, sick. Do I see Joel? Is he still here?
Yeah, he's still here.
He's
don't
safe.
Don't
okay,
go off in the deep
over.
end, honey.
Yeah, you just never know. Like someone might talk him into walking off into the Nowheresville. We just don't know. He's so trusting and wonderful. I'll stumble across the park and plop down. You find something?
I'll show the Alps to George.
Yeah.
Oh, that is not cute.
That's the smoky thing, we talked about.
The what thing?
The smoke thing in the library.
That looks like something out of a spaceship peeled.
I slept really poorly last night. I don't know about you, but
I mean, I don't have a great sleep schedule, but it's been notably worse, I would say. That was a pretty dope nap, though.
The second paragraph here. Read that.
Invades dreams. That's creepy. If only I dream restlessness,
Yeah.
fatigue.
At least it's
Ashy,
not, you know, Freddy
smoky.
Krueger ripping you apart in your dreams, because that would be worse.
Well, you're trying to say I look ashy. It's rude. I moisturize.
Additionally, it not only invades dreams but influences them to become nightmares. So you will experience.
Oh, I see.
It accesses your subconsciousness, and
It fucks with your dreams.
Well, it doesn't just fuck with your dreams. It manifests. It manifests dogs.
It manifests poodles.
Scares the shit out of you. No, it manifests nightmares from your subconscious, and it's things that you're scared of. It's things that you worry may happen, or like things that really concern you.
I see.
Yeah.
And essentially that.
Sorry, I'm back. Whoa.
Oh, no
George
problem.
passed out. It was epilepsy. Or not epilepsy, Jesus Christ, narcolepsy.
It's essentially that that is their energy that feeds them, and they feed off your sleep pretty much, which is why you don't feel like you've slept, because they deal with it. They do that. There is in this a way to deal with them, which essentially is to sleep with a mirror on your chest.
Okay.
The way that works is, and again, like, take all of, like, it's worth saying that you are not sure, because there's a lot of myth in here, as well as, like, information, and it's presented in such a way that it is talking about myths and legends and demons. This could be, like you said, you know, like a monster manual for made up shit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's also been enough correlating to what you've seen to take it reasonably serious. I just want to add in that, you know, you're not sure whether these things are true or not.
Yeah.
For example, for the Menangangal, you have to crush up salt and garlic and dribble it, like spread it on the lower part of the body, so that when they refuse, it kind of like burns away at the and kills it.
That's why the ashes we collected smelled so good.
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
But the Alp will attempt to invade a dream and instead get stuck in the mirror. So once it gets stuck in the mirror, it can't get back out because it's not a dream, it's a mirror. Which is why you keep it on your on top of you when you sleep, because it tries to zoom in. The other way to defeat it is to find where it sleeps, or where they sleep. They do tend to run around in packs.
Oh, I was gonna say it's a clusterfuck. I think it's the collective noun.
And shove a lemon in its mouth, and then bury it.
Oh, okay.
And then bury it. So
Are they allergic to vitamin C?
mythology, man, it's crazy.
Okay.
So
pointing to
are
that
these
section.
tiny?
Yeah,
Like they're
pussy
tiny and they
lemons.
crawl in your ear or something?
No, they're about knee height. But they are classified as demon or demon-like. So there's a slightly otherworldly, other dimensionally aspect to them.
So do they have to be in your general vicinity to affect you?
Yeah, they have to come to you and then invade your dream, like, physically.
Okay.
Would
so
the puka have seen it?
I was gonna say, Will probably says, like, if you're not affected, that might be because of your little friend, you know, keeping an eye out.
I mean, what do you mean not affected? I'm exhausted. I haven't slept at all.
Yeah, but is that because of
You also
going to
haven't.
bed at 4 a.m. or is it because you slept poorly?
I mean, it might be because I swallowed a supernatural creature yesterday. I don't know. There are many reasons, William.
Yeah, that'll give you indigestion usually. Yeah.
No, I actually feel fine.
So you
Sorry, should be what?
You haven't seen or spoken to Puka since a couple of days at least. So
And today's the feeding day. I mean, on the way home from the skate park, I
Yeah.
pick up milk and bread.
Noted.
So this should be like, I mean, he should know at least, right? I would assume Puka looks forward to this day.
Yeah.
Like, this is the day.
Will is definitely going to tell George to like, hey, I'm going to sleep with a mirror on my chest tonight just to see if that helps. And
On
you can
your
try
chest?
the same.
I'm sorry, what? What do you mean on your chest?
Will points to the section where it says, hey, sleeping with a mirror on your chest is a way to trap the helps.
Does it have to be a big mirror?
I don't think so.
Or like a I got some makeup compacts.
That could probably work, yeah. Worth a try, right?
What happens after we trap it?
I don't know. Ashley?
Sick. I mean, it's worth a try. Is there anything that could? What if it finds out? Do they get angry? Could it like? Are there like, consequences if it figures out we're fucking back? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. You gave me this book today, remember?
You're smart. I figured you finished it by now, bro. I don't know.
I mean, I've read it a
Been
couple of times
like
by now.
3
yeah,
hours.
but yeah, unless there's more information. Hi, Zeke. Unless there's more information about it.
I don't know what that's about.
The general look of them, the fact that they invade dreams, either the mirror to trap them or the lemon in its mouth and burying them to deal with them permanently.
Oh, okay. Wait, so capture them in? You could capture them in the mirror and then bury the mirror as well?
Burying the mirror wouldn't really do anything. The posited ways to deal with them in the mirror is to either store the mirror somewhere or to shatter it.
Oh, okay. That seems like a permanent solution rather than getting a bank safety deposit box or something.
It does, however, posit that possibly the old adage of 7 years bad luck when you shatter a mirror could originate from shattering an Alp mirror.
Okay, so break the mirror, but don't do it yourself. Get a friend to do it.
Yeah, curse
Enemy.
a friend with 7 years bad luck. Sounds good.
Hey, Joel, you want to do something cool?
Yeah. Hey, you're not superstitious, are you? No? Good. Step on this.
Joel's like sitting there and you guys
You
will come up
know.
with mirrors. Like, hey, Joel, smash this for me.
I love the idea of
Yeah,
putting the
sure.
mirror on the
You-
putting the mirror on the ground and telling Joel to fucking ollie over it and see how many times he can do it before he lands on it.
Knowing
Yeah.
Joel's like wondrous innocence and warm-heartedness and how much he smashes his face into things regularly, he'd be the one person that it wouldn't ever happen. Like, he'd never get bad luck. He'd be like, "This is a blast. I don't know why you guys don't want to join."
You also know
Koosh.
that he is totally the superstitious type. Like
Oh
it
yeah.
kind of goes with the territory, being like, "Oh man, I'm not gonna touch that." You know what
But
I mean? Like,
the thing-
I don't
here's
think the
bad luck.
Matrix has come out yet, but when it comes out, it really fucks with Joel.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a
The-
few years away. So.
The thing is as well is Joel's superstitious. He just doesn't remember what all of the superstitions are. So like when he sees a black cat, he's like, do I pet you or do I like avoid, like it's something to do with a black cat. And like while he's sitting there trying to figure out what you're supposed to do with a black cat, it like crosses his path like 10 times.
Yeah, it's rubbing back and forth on his legs,
yeah.
and he's just sitting there like, "Oh." Yeah,
Only I could remember.
he was the kid that was sitting in the field, like taping an extra like clover petal to the 3-leaf clovers to be like, "Look what I found. I made it.
So
It's 4-leaf."
So someone in chat just said that made me laugh was Joel would take the red pill because he likes red licorice.
Oh,
I'm like, no. Joel would take both pills and he'd
Yeah.
completely fuck up the Matrix and everyone around him. It's like just the whole thing crashes because he can't resist eating both.
literally like hand unfolds with
I
both
like
pills,
purple,
and before
man.
he can say anything, just pop. Thanks, bro. It's hungry.
I don't like that's something they probably never thought about in the Matrix was like what happens if you take both pills.
You become Joel.
I saw someone do it. Yeah.
That's the ultimate. You
Joel.
are now Joel.
Joel.
Bing, bing.
I saw someone did a comic of that like a couple of weeks ago. Take the red pill, take the blue pill. And then he looks away and looks back and he looks down and he goes, "Did you take both pills?"
Job. That's great. Someone stole our idea already.
Oh, damn. Before we had it, how rude is that?
Yeah.
So,
We have to kill them.
What's going down right now?
What?
So, fading away from the skate park as you both, kind of going over
Browse the book.
Yeah.
browsing the book. Like, you see other things. There's more there which we can draw from as and when it becomes cogent. And also, there can be times, William, where you can be like, hey, I've been reading the book. Is there anything that stands out to me or anything that...
I was gonna ask that. Like, Will seems like the type to have a great memory.
Oh yeah.
And, like, obviously not everything is going to be covered.
No, it doesn't have eidetic memory. It's just he's got a good memory.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I would say the likelihood is if you're in a graveyard and zombies start coming up from the graves, you'll be like, oh, that's probably some lost soul or something,
Yeah, exactly.
Oh shit! It's a zombie.
Yeah.
If someone goes, "Oh shit, it's a zombie," he goes, "It's actually Nzumba, and it's from the West African Nzumba, means to walk in a trance. But these are lost souls, actually."
George out of nowhere. Pop.
Yeah, just smacks
Yeah.
them.
Shut up.
So, we fade away from the skate park and
Pop.
forward in time a little bit to the evening, where out in a park, kind of, there's pathways going back and forward and etc. We see a kind of scarecrow, gaunt man standing by himself on the edge of the path. There's like a bench there, and sitting by himself as we hear the crunch of footsteps, and he looks up to see... Excuse me 1 second.
Boy, our boy.
It's your boy. Bertrand.
Yeah, boy.
And by our boy, I
Oh, and
mean
Ashford.
fuck
You
that
You
guy.
better give us the whole scene right now.
And Ashford says, "Birdie, it's been quite a while." And Bertrand looks up and says, "Reuben, it has been a while."
Reuben.
And then you hear the crunch, crunch, crunch of footsteps as a small blue light starts to emanate, and Morgan Knight says, "So, why did I agree to come here?" And we fade on the scene.
Go fuck yourself.
Oh
Oh,
shit!
you
all
absolute cockmonger.
You
all
fucking
three?
ass. I
All
didn't
three of
honestly.
them?
I didn't realize what time it was until someone said, "You better give us this entire scene." And I was like, "No, why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he give us this whole?"
Fucking asshole.
Oh,
Well, to be fair,
That's
none of us
why.
are there to see it, right?
We're
Like-
never
yeah.
gonna get the scene.
No, but we're gonna hear the aftermath of the scene.
we no, he wouldn't.
We're not
He
guaranteed
wouldn't.
anything. It's a week
No,
away. I
but-
could,
Big stuff is gonna happen, and then
Get
next
nuked
episode,
by Russia.
everything's gonna be fine. We're not gonna know until like 5 episodes later, where it's like,
I mean-
huh, this is actually what was discussed.
No. No.
Yes.
Aw. I just wanted to watch Sheepy try and have a dialogue with himself for
I
like.
was already looking forward to taking the glasses on and off.
Yeah. Like, one of the things I was thinking when I knew that scene was going to happen is I was like, I'm going to have to take these fucking glasses off and on and off and on. I was like, no, I know what I'm doing.
That's the only reason he didn't want to play it out, because he didn't want to take the glasses on.
Can
Okay, I just-
neither
I
come-
Honestly,
want
you probably
everyone
get like
to
a rash on
realize-
your nose.
This is, I want this on the record. This is bullshit.
I know.
So-
I don't mean to be foul, but sheep, you can f yourself.
Oh, Well, at least Tori's not telling me that, because that would end up a lot worse.
Sorry, but put in the chat.
Would it?
Tweet hashtag Team Knight, hashtag Team Ashford, or hashtag Team Grey to pledge your allegiance.
Pledge your allegiance now. Tweet at the Wandering Inn. Is it at the Wandering Inn? What the hell is the name of my Twitter?
Oh my
No, it's
God.
like in wandering.
Yeah.
At in wandering. Either
Yeah.
hashtag Ashford, hashtag Knight, or hashtag Team Grey.
The winner gets free Chef Jeff buffet.
Oh,
Don't
don't eat the special.
One of the things I kind of wanted to do as my first piece of merchandise for the channel was to do an apron that was kiss the chef, and it was Chef Jeff, like, you know.
Just do, instead of that, just do kiss the Jeff.
Kiss the
And
chef.
then-
Yeah.
Oh my god. If you could get it like, pre-greasy, like, fake stained, but like, the greasy kitchen stains, dude. That's how I picture Jeff, just like
Yeah,
emanating
no.
the smell of a good
Yeah,
fryer.
he's just like a
He's-
gross chef guy.
He's a portly chef with like the greasy.
I don't know why, but I
stains.
imagine him as being super skinny. I don't like.
Oh
like,
no,
like,
he's big and portly and kind of like
Okay,
"Meh,
alright.
what's up?" But let me
Wait,
just-
what did he sound
He
like?
might have been very fun in his younger years, right?
But yeah, one of the things I am tempted to do is to get Askren to draw Chef Jeff for me, and then
yes.
put him on the front of the hoodie, and then put the quote on the back of the hoodie. You're young, it gets a lot worse.
It gets a lot worse.
The most comforting words George has ever been fed.
Yeah. So.
GG.
Yeah, GG.
GG.
Thank you very much. Essentially, we will do a mix of outro and roundtable thoughts. So, if you want to do the outro first and then do a few bits of roundtable, cool. Fuck it, let's go with that.
Like the
Yeah.
last couple of weeks, I got a dip pretty quick.
Okay, so we won't hang around too long. In that case, let's do the outro so that we can dip whenever we need to.
yeah.
Let's start this time with Tori, and Distracted Elf, and also the Siren, I guess.
Oh.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great. You can find me at twitch.tv/distractedelf or on Twitter at distractedelf. When you want to do that. Playing Tori is really fun. I like it.
I actually like Tori more and more.
This week I was kind of like, I haven't been mean enough. I'm just gonna be mean to this like little fucking weirdo.
Hey, what do you think he was there for?
I mean, yeah.
Aside from
Should've
creeping
charged.
on Cecilia, apparently.
Go ahead, Katie.
Hey there, everybody. Today was fun. I have a cold. I apologize if I was gross. I tried to mute all my coughs, but it was still super fun. And I feel like bringing that book to Will was the best NyQuil-induced idea I've had all week. I'm really excited about it because Will is like, you think of way more things even real Katie, not even George would have thought of. So I'm really excited about that to see what's in it. Because I was literally going through my notes because I'm almost halfway through another notebook. So I was literally page numbering them. I was disgusted with myself. And I was reading over the notes from when we were in the library, and I found it. Hold on, I actually wrote it down. What the book was named. 34, page 34. Sorry.
Okay.
So originally the book was named, and for fucking why, Big Bumper Book of Demon Summoning.
Big Bumper Book of Demons.
I didn't know what it was, so when I did my
BBB
art,
of
it
the
was
DS.
called Possessions and Priests.
The PP or the BBB of the DS.
Yeah.
Either one. It's the second edition,
I remember,
obviously.
I remember naming it now.
I laughed a lot on my own. I'm glad I was muted for that one. But anyways, I had the pleasure of playing George today. And having fun with Joel and Will is always a blast. Joel is the lighthearted, like everybody needs a Joel, I think, in their life. You can find me at twitch.tv/ClassicKatie. We just wrapped up a charity for fuck cancer, hashtag fuck cancer, because fuck cancer, I think that's universally accepted at this point. And I'm still trying to beat Boyfriend Dungeon, so swing by if you'd like. It's been a blast. We'll bump it to Lima Zulu Tango. Get your finger out of your nose, you nasty.
It's not. It's on my nose. No, it's in my nose. No.
No!
Hey guys, watch this. No.
Oh.
Hi, I'm Lima Zulu Tango. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Lima Zulu Tango. You can also find me at Instagram on Lima Zulu Tango. I have a website where I sell leather stuff. Check out the Patreon. Because without the
Oh
Patreon,
my god, the
we're
Patreon.
not here.
I'm so sick I forgot the Patreon.
I had a lot of fun today. So yeah, I had a blast. I was this close to not getting here on time because my
Dude.
town is in an absolute blizzard for
But you made it.
I think it's a 6 or 7 blizzard in the last month and a half.
I think
we-
we were all talking about that before stream. We all got slammed with snow. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, yesterday I had no snow, and today there's like 8 to 9 inches of snow on my windowsill.
Hard same.
I feel
So
you.
So
crazy.
yeah.
As a sidebar, before we bump to Syrinx, I got my first hashtag. It was hashtag Team Grey. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Team Gray.
That's
Woo!
fantastic.
Oh god.
Hell yes. It's fitting.
sorry, carry on.
So yeah, that's all from me. You can find me everywhere. I don't stream so much at the moment because I have essays and shit to do, which I have one that I need to do today, or likely I'm gonna do it tomorrow. But it's only 1,500 words, so that'll be quick. Thank you very much for me. I throw it over to Syrinx.
Well, hi. I'm Syrinx. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram as such. Today was really fun. I don't know. I just really liked today. And I also had the moment of realization where I'm really enjoying that this is slow burn. Like realizing that it's episode 9, but it's like progressing nicely and like there's no rush.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like everything's going so nicely and like at least every episode there's like a revelation of sorts.
I was gonna say the same thing. Like, I'm still have questions. Like, it's what episode? What did you say? 9?
Yeah.
I still have so many questions on episode 9. What the?
Yeah, so I don't know, it's really nice.
Killing it.
Also, I petitioned for if we probably won't get the Three Daddies scene tomorrow. Tomorrow next week. Jesus. We probably won't get that scene next week. I am saying though, if you ever do a flashback or like a hint to it, you need to play it out at that moment. So like you can't escape the fact that you will have to play out a scene with 3 NPCs where you will have to switch out between the classes. Because if you don't give that by the end of the season, I will quit.
I volunteer as tribute to throw George to the wolves if you need someone to give you a moment to take the glasses on and off.
Noted.
You know?
Noted.
One of those
Likewise,
moments
I
where a
had-
student walks
like-
in on a bad
like-
situation.
I
I can't even imagine. I kind of really want to see
So,
that. As terrible as it
really want to see
sounds.
it. So yeah, besides that, Sheepy, go ahead.
Hello everyone, patron, if you want to support the show, if you want to see more of me doing these things, yeah, the more people who pledge, the more shows I can do, the more I can pay the cost, and essentially, all I need, all I'm aiming for currently is enough to cover cost pay for each of the shows. Once those are covered, like, there's extra stuff, there's production and all those kind of things, but for now, that's our goal. Pay the cost, I'm happy to do the extra, like, production stuff, and everything. Overlays and art and all that kind of thing. So give it a think, give it a look, and for those of you who are already patrons, there are quite a few of you, and just know I super appreciate you. I am going to do some stuff for the patrons so that you can do your ad reads that I'll have to read as like little fun sponsorships at the beginning. I've already had a couple ideas thrown at me that I'm not looking forward to reading, but hey, it is what it is.
That
And,
means they're gonna be good.
Yeah.
if we have a little bit of time before we have to dip, I would like to say that I especially enjoyed exploring Cecilia's abilities at the beginning of the show.
That was really fun, yeah.
That was very cool. And it's
Yeah.
nice to show you guys what Cecilia can do. And as a sidebar, Cecilia was like, I don't think I can go any deeper. You can. But it does seem to Cecilia currently that she can't.
We're slowly getting past denial.
Yeah,
slowly.
it's cool.
All on her own, honestly, which is
Well,
crazy. Like
that's
we've
a-
all kind of been leaning on each other, but she is like solo in that shit.
It was sparked by Tori.
Yeah, Tori did give a bit of a.
Hell yeah.
Additionally, speaking of Tori, did you, when you were talking to Bertrand and he was like, "Be careful about what you say," did you flash back to giving the compel to that little kid? Or
I mean, sure, but you know, like, what can I do about it at that point? And the
Oh.
other thing is like, that might go bad, but it might not. Like, it depends on the kid, right? Like,
I mean, how many different ways can you translate "leave her alone"? Right?
I mean, it's a pretty, it's a pretty direct command,
boy.
in my opinion.
Oh, we need to.
Sirix
I want to talk.
immediately went to that in her head. She's like, "Oh wait."
Oof. Oof.
I'm just saying, Tori wouldn't
The ways
consider
that
that
could
to be.
Oh.
Tori wouldn't consider that to be ambiguous.
No,
The
not
ways
at all.
that could go.
But also, the other thing that you did, Sheepy, was tell me that the more I use the power, the stronger it'll be. So expect more compulsions shortly, because
Oh.
Tori's like, well, if I can tell Ashford what to do or Gray what to do, then we're covered, you know? So
Too many dads in this town. We need a mom. Tori's gonna step up.
And
yeah, the next generation of monster kids are gonna be having to deal with Tori.
the last thing, aside from being very cool to be able to show you guys a bit more detail about the supernatural, we got a little bit more information about what's going on as well with Tori and Bertrand talking about the how the, I think you guys had already picked it up out of character.
The power black hole.
There's a difference between what's happened to you and the supernatural entities, the myths and creatures around here. Like,
Okay, but honestly, I love that Tori is like siding with Gray.
I actually wrote the entire
I
conversation
mean,
down like word for word, with bullet points.
2.3 million versus 25K.
Yeah.
That seems like a pretty fucking obvious choice in my mind. And Gray's like, I just want you to pay me, then we're good. Not, I'm gonna slowly, incrementally cut down on your debt as I blackmail you. Like, in terms of
True.
reasonableness, I honestly
Hey,
think
would
Gray
you like
is
to pay the full amount or literally 1% of that amount?
Yeah,
He
like,
also didn't put you in like terminal danger for
nope.
that you know of. I
mean, he
guess.
kind of did. He kind of did, but it wasn't anything worse than what Ashford is demanding.
That's true. That's okay. Yeah.
Like, Gray's obviously sketchy, but I also think that maybe he's obviously sketchy and not sketchy, whereas Ashford is like.
That's the
You know
thing.
what I mean?
That's the thing about Gray, isn't it? He's an admitted liar and a charlatan
And a con man and a
con
thief.
man, and in a way that's weirdly disarming because you're like, I know I can't trust him, so I can kind of trust him.
Well,
Yeah.
it's just like you know what you're getting into.
A
like,
dishonest
it's right
man you can
there.
always trust to be dishonest.
Yeah, you know-
honestly, it's the honest ones you want to look out for.
You know where you stand with Bertrand, which is a little easier to deal with than. For
Well, and
example,
also, which
Ashford.
is that I'm interesting and my friends aren't, which is kind of better because if they're not interesting, that means they won't be roped in, which is like another whole thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's, I don't know.
But the other thing I imagine you all picked up as players, not characters, is that there is a connection, judging on how they all seem to know each other.
Oh
Of course,
yeah.
of course.
pretty
The
much.
yeah,
meeting
right?
of the Grands in the fucking forest or whatever.
Oh.
What is this shit?
So, yeah.
You
Well,
gotta.
like-
I'm still like, I keep trying to think of a way for George to somehow, you know, as a student, approach Knight and be like, "So you're gonna try to kill me again or what?"
I
What
mean,
was with the glowing balls? I can eat those now.
you could always just do that.
Sir, if you want to kill me again, I want to warn you, I will eat you.
Yeah.
Motherfucker,
I will bite
if,
your hand off.
If you want to come at this again, I will Kirby your ass.
George.
I could try.
Or Or like in the next philosophy class, you just like raise your hand and ask a question out of nowhere. Be like, "Sir, what would it be like to be eaten by someone and not exist anymore?"
I literally this session thought about going to see Mr. Knight and asking the philosophical question of like, is it wrong to control someone's free will?
Yeah.
Honestly,
No,
man,
you gotta be more forceful. Is it wrong to rob someone of their free will?
Even
and
if
if they
you
don't know
better.
they have it, like, is it robbing?
If they know that if they don't even know that it's gone, is it
Right?
really gone?
See,
Yeah.
that would be funny as well, because if George had the siren, you know that George would be like, they're all sheeple anyway, man. Like, they don't have any free
dude.
will.
This would be a much different game if I had gone to the lake.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it would have been a much different game if you'd have gone to the church.
True. Well, we did.
I mean, the entire point of this game is that it would have been much different if any of us
If
had
any of
stumbled
you had gone
anywhere, right?
anywhere.
True.
That's
Like-
kind of the point.
Because we've experienced the light now, George could, like, I think a couple of you could have ended up being possessed by the light, but yeah,
The power of shadows. Whee!
well, yeah,
Power to
it's-
like eat. What was it? Eat sorrow and hopelessness.
it feeds off hopelessness and sorrow, but that's kind of what attracts it to someone. Why it would possess them. It essentially allows you to like project light that scares and it's kind of like Turn Undead except for supernaturals.
Yeah.
But later on, as time goes on, you can project such a strong light that you cast such a dark shadow around you.
Oh, and then the creepy.
Well, it's not just creepy. You can control shadow, essentially. The shadow that you create, you control.
Oh.
It's an interesting one, but I'm
Cool.
glad you got the glutton. The glutton's fun.
Me too.
Um,
We wouldn't have Chef Jeff if it wasn't for the glutton.
That's true.
Anyways, I think Tori needs to fucking jet.
I have to
Yes.
dip, yeah. So
Um,
can we
also, yes, we will outro now.
wind it up?
But
Yeah.
I also I took a side. I put it in the
Yeah.
in the Twitch
PP, how
chat.
dare you?
So thank you for watching, everyone. Really hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to watch again next week or on YouTube. Go check out my YouTube. You can watch all of my shows, all of the VODs, all of the videos there at any time, in your own time. A lot of people choose to do that, and that's perfectly fine too.
Also, go read all the Mr. Matt comments because they're the best. Just go through every episode and
Yeah.
read the
And
comment.
read them all.
They're huge.
It's basically the novelization of our campaign. So
With feelings, though, interjected. It's
Yeah,
crazy
yeah.
good.
So, thanks for watching, everyone, and it is not Monday tomorrow, so we won't be doing
Correct.
No daddies.
Apologies, Syrinx. I think, speaking for myself, I need at least a day's break in between episodes. But next Monday, we will be back with another QT episode. Let's see if I can appropriately name it next time. Who knows? Thanks for watching.
normal day 3.
Yeah, normal day 3. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.
Bye.
Oh.
Oh, I misclicked.